Welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. You're listening to this one live, episode 252, Friday, March 20th, 2020. Here we go. We are doing the at-home cast, and we're doing it live today because why not? I kind of have no shame anymore, and we just don't care what goes up anymore. Just streaming all day, every day. Back here, I am glad to have Abby Russell.
That's me. I'm back. Did you guys miss me?
I did.
Yes,
I missed
did.
you a whole bunch. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Happy to be home.
Thank you. We'll get back to your trips in a second. Also here, Alex
Okay.
Navarro.
I am back. Hopefully my computer will not crash this time. And Vinny, I gotta tell you, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit spoiled. I never want to do a Beastcast without actually hearing the music intro ever again.
Oh, do you like that? We can figure this
do.
out. If I can figure this out here, we can figure it out there. It is nerve-wracking. Got to hit that punch right on top. Jeff Bacalar, no longer in a spinning chair. Well, yours spins, but the rotating chair is at home.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Thanks again so much for letting me be here. And you know what? Cry me a river about doing a live podcast, man. Jesus. I mean,
well,
Why are you
like,
so mad?
yeah. Relax.
don't act like, oh, how does anyone do a live podcast? No one's ever done that before.
No.
I mean, you're doing great. It's not
I
that hard.
genuinely
Jeez.
don't understand why anyone would want to see us while we talk.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, there's a difference
Isn't it
between
one of
live
the
and doing the
illusions?
video.
I want them to imagine me in a big comfy throne with like a thing, like a glass of champagne and like a big long cigarette when I do my podcast.
Which is how you do it in the studio, which is why we had to put you in that
I
other
know.
room because it's the yeah.
Smoking section.
In the office.
Yeah.
I want everyone to imagine me in, I'm going to say, the largest beanbag chair you have ever seen, just splayed out with a microphone hanging from the ceiling directly into my face. And all I'm doing is just laying arms and legs out as comfortable as humanly possible. And I'm speaking to you from that position. I'm breaking the mystique here.
Anyway, that's right. Just like I was gonna say just that is the normal Alex as well.
I couldn't bring the beanbag chair back from the office.
Of course
it was a little too big and also could not be disinfected.
Also, it's hard to get that mic when you're sitting and holding the microphone is weird.
Yeah.
I never understood how you did that. Boy, I hope this is recording. We'll find out later. It's probably going to Twitch, right?
It occurs to me we didn't do the sync, Vinny. We didn't do the clap sync.
But I've
shit.
but I've got the master audio here, so hopefully
Okay.
this is all fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna make it through it. I have not had a chance to look at some of the news, so if you guys will fill us in on the news. But before we get to that, I have played a little of a new game that is coming out very soon, if it's not out already.
Animal Crossing?
No, not
No.
yet. Though, let me ask this before we get started. Has anybody seen Animal Crossing being sold yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean? I bought it and pre-downloaded it, but not played.
like physical
Oh, like in
copies.
stores?
I heard
I haven't been checking.
I heard some rumors that like Doom and Animal Crossing, that stores were starting to sell as early as they could to basically
Yeah.
if they have to close down.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I heard
I
that.
shouldn't leave the house, but boy, does that tempt me.
Right.
Here's what I do know is that GameStop is officially selling Doom as of today to try and space out the number of people that need to be in their stores. So like they're doing the Doom launch today and they are doing the Animal Crossing launch tomorrow. I did not call my usual source for street date breaking antics on account of I don't want to leave my apartment right now. So having that information actually does me no good.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
be
like-
tempted.
It just kind of, I mean, I realize like people want to go and get their physical copy of Animal Crossing, but like, I don't know. I feel like every retailer in my area is like, hey, about that, we're kind of only doing like a curbside pickup situation for anything.
Just dump your
so-
Animal Crossing to the curb and pick it up.
Or like call us up when you're getting here and
Yeah.
we'll just dump it on the side. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, so
Also, I think we had a couple people email us about how GameStop is handling some of these situations and maybe
Oh my
not doing
God.
the best job of like keeping the trade-in stuff clean and
Yeah.
like
oh.
actually handling their customer and their like how they handle the employees and keeping them safe. In addition
we'll be
to how
talking
they
about
serve
that.
customers.
That will
Oh.
be in the news today.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to that, the other game that is out that I've been able to play or is coming out, or it sounds like is out now, if you go to GameStop, boy, it still takes me a second too. Is Doom, that new Doom Eternal.
Do you love
yes.
it?
I'm enjoying it so far.
What are you playing on?
I'm playing on PC first of all, and then the difficulty I'm playing on is something with vicious in it. What's the third one? The third one down?
What?
So the hard difficulty, not necessarily the extreme difficulty.
There's like 7 difficulties. So it's like there's like I think very easy, easier, I think, and then I'm on like the third one, and then it goes down from there. There wasn't anything that just said this is the way it was meant to be played, or at least I didn't see that. So I had picked one that sounded like it was the normal-ish. And it's fairly difficult. I'm still getting my Doom legs back under me. I will say that in my Steam library where I'm playing it, after I put the code in for it and then had to do a bunch of other stuff and went to go download the game, I typed Doom 2 into my Steam library and it downloaded in like a second. And I was like, whoa, okay, is this like a preload or something? And it was the old Doom 2. Clearly,
right?
Yes, Doom Eternal. I think it looks great. I think the humor. So they're showing a lot more of Doom Guy's face through the mask, which I've got mixed feelings about. I kind of like him as just like robotic, like no personality, demon killing machine. And the setup so far has been a little just jump right in. You know, hell on earth. Jump right in. So all the narrative stuff aside, which I think I'm still kind of figuring out. I don't know why the demons are sometimes fighting against each other. I asked Brad at like 1 a.m, but he didn't answer me.
Demon Wars.
What's that?
Demon Wars.
Demon Wars? I'm not sure. Maybe they're just demons and I like fighting. But the action is great. I'm still getting into that chainsaw guys for the ammo. Mercy kill, rip and tear for the health, and then I just got the flamethrower thing for armor shards, and I haven't played too much more than that. I'm up to I did the first kind of opening area.
Okay, I think I've played a little further than you have. I have the PS4 version. I started out on the default difficulty, and I will not. I will feel no shame in saying that I have dialed it back to the easiest a couple of times because I have not. This game's been kicking my ass, and I to be fair, I was not the best Doom 2016 player. I got through it, I played it, I enjoyed it a lot. I played it on the default difficulty. This one is meaner, and I don't take that necessarily as a negative. I think that it's understandable. It's just that some of the things that are meaner about it, I'm maybe not as enamored with.
So I had a lot of trouble with the Arachnotron. Is that the spider with the grenade launcher on its back?
Yeah, that's the first guy that killed me multiple times.
Yeah, he shreds you if you. It was the first time, I'm going around the game not taking any cover, and then it was the first time I had to kind of like hide behind a wall. Because it's a very kinetic game, right? You're just kind of like, going. And then I had to like duck and like think about it for a while and really use that sticky bomb alt mode to take that thing down. That guy is hard, and every time it pops up, it means I'm probably gonna die. But so far, I love the atmosphere. I love the music and the kind of combat arenas when the metal kicks in. And the vibe kind of sends tingles down my spine, like when it's all working correctly. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I agree. I think the highlight of the game for sure is the moments when it's just like, hey, you are in an arena environment and they are just going to keep throwing demons at you until there are no more demons to throw at you. That is when the game is at its best. It's most frenetic, even when it is hard in those situations. Those are the puzzles I want to solve. Like, those are the things I'm willing to kind of beat my head against and try and figure out the best way to do. The problem I'm having, and it's not that they're necessarily like that much harder or anything. It's just that the emphasis on the platforming, which I am to understand gets a lot more emphatic as time goes on. I've already run into a few platforming puzzles that I did not really enjoy. And it's not that the mechanics aren't good or that the puzzles aren't easily, you can't suss out what you're supposed to do. It's just that I don't think they're that fun. Oh. The platforming in Doom 2016 was there. It was effective. It worked when they had you doing it, but it never really felt like the point. Here it feels a little more like part of the point, and I don't know that I like that very much.
Are you so wait, are you guys playing you said PS4, right, Alex?
I'm on PS4.
And Vinny, are you doing mouse and keyboard on PC?
I am so far, but I might switch over to controller if I play it on my Steam Link.
Oh, well, of course. But have you found, like, I don't know, is it me or just some first person shooters I find when I'm playing on PC, like, absolutely have to do mouse and keyboard, and then some first person shooters on PC, I'm like, well,
So-
maybe this is like a controller thing.
So that's a great question because I can't remember what I did for was it 2016 Doom? And when did other Doom come out?
Yes.
I can't remember exactly what I did there, but yeah, you're right. Playing this with a mouse and keyboard, I think about playing with a controller, and it seems like in my mind it feels impossible. But clearly, it's not. But the frenetic pace of it, as I'm kind of rolling around trying to target that little thing on the spider's back, the arachnotron's back.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a very good auto assist. I'm gonna try it and see how it is with a controller for sure. But yeah, for now, it's mouse and keyboard.
I also, I was going to say, I also am not maybe feeling the overall narrative tone of this one quite as much as I was feeling Doom 2016 out of the gate. It's a little less irreverent, a little less like, nod and winky. Like there are still parts where like, we'll zoom in on Doom guy not listening to someone telling him to do something and just being kind of a general dick. He still, punches doors all the time and punches everything for that matter. But like with Doom 2016, in the beginning of that game, like the opening of that game, it was just like, oh, this is what you're doing right out of the gate. Like it had the right, it just like, it felt right from the get-go. This, it kind of felt like they kind of drop you in the middle of stuff happening, and it doesn't really have much humor or really anything to kind of draw you in other than, hey, there's some hell priests, go get them.
I
and
agree.
it
Yeah.
And the amount of text and like codex stuff that you are kind of getting out of it, like I've been reading that stuff and none of it's really been that compelling so far.
Yeah, there was a really great part, or the really great setup in Doom 2016 of organized chaos. Like you're inside this facility that's going literally to hell, and you're just this wrecking ball running through it. But in the Doom Eternal, it is just, it's you're kind of the bad guy fighting against the bad guys, right? You're already a monster fighting monsters throughout this hellscape. So I think you lose a little bit of that wrecking ball mentality. Though sometimes it's cool when the monsters seem afraid of you. Like that's always fun. But,
right.
But like there's like a decapitation early in the game that I feel like wants to be impactful, but I feel like it reminded me of the MK Shinnok decapitation. Like it was very much in that style, and it didn't hit that hard, but I do like when the hell demons that aren't scared of anything are a little afraid of you. I want more of that.
Yeah. And so I'm probably about 3-ish hours into it. And so like I said, that stuff hasn't really compelled me. It's still fun. Like the core shooting, the weapon variety, the different mods. There's maybe like a few too many different perk and like upgrade systems in that game, or at least that's my early impression of it. But the different ways you can kit out your guns and the different mods they give you, like all feel pretty good, at least from the ones I've tried so far. It's a nice variety, and just like fucking shredding demons is still a fun thing to do inherently.
Yeah, there's an interesting talent tree in this one, which is you basically have health, armor, what is it? Health, armor, and shields? Health, health, armor, ammo.
Yeah.
And basically, if you imagine a health icon and like an armor icon, and sandwiched between it is some cool perk like flamethrower cooldown, and there's like, I don't know, on my screen maybe there's like 8 of those, and it basically encourages you to say like, hey, if you take the health icon and you take this ammo upgrade, if you take both of those that are sandwiches in the thing, you'll get this perk in between, right? So it kind of encourages you to not just take all the health upgrades right away, and it kind of encourages you to kind of mix and match those things to get these extra third ancillary perks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're combining 2 perks to make a bigger perk in a way that like is not just spamming. Well, I'm clearly just taking the health upgrade over and over again.
There's other ones too. Like there are upgrades for the actual mods themselves for your
Yes.
guns. There's the suit upgrades, which is a whole other token system that you have to collect. There's a lot. Like it's not completely overwhelming, but it does feel like there are several different ways to outfit your Doom guy.
So compared to 2016, though, I played that whole game. What am I getting hit over the head with in terms of like tangible difference, for better or worse?
Between
I mean,
2016 and this, there's some. I think that some of the I'd have to play 2016 again. There's the platforming, right? Platforming is
Yes.
a clear one.
The greater abundance of it, yeah.
The pace seems a little more frantic. The glory kills seem like it's every other person. So to kind of keep up that pace, I don't remember if that was like in Doom 16, but it feels fast, even faster than that. It feels like almost where Doom 2016 left off near the end, that pace. The shoulder-mounted cannon is new. That kind of
the flame belch.
Yeah, so like as you know, I think you
Flame
used to
belch,
have
okay.
flame belch. You used to have health, and the chainsaw would get you ammo, and now you have the flame belch, which get you armor shards. So you're kind of
So when you shoot and kill enemies that are on fire, they just barf out a whole bunch of armor for you.
Yeah,
Got it.
but aside from that, it's I think it's more of Doom 2016, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's it's what I wanted. Aside from that, unless there's more to say about Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, which I'm sure we'll talk about more as the weeks continue.
Oh boy, why'd you have to put it like that, man?
I will say at this point, Abby, welcome back. Of course, I don't think we've all talked about. We've done this so many times now that I feel like we've talked about the like being home stuff, but we didn't talk about you being away. So I want to talk about you were in LA.
I was in LA and I picked maybe the worst time to go on vacation.
That seems
Because if I
right.
left a week earlier, things would have been open, would have been fine. If I left a week later, would have just canceled the trip. Not the best thing, but instead I went right in between everything where I was like hemming and hawing of like, should I go? Well, things seem fine. I left about halfway through the trip. Everything went on emergency shutdown. Couldn't do half the stuff I planned. Couldn't see half the people I wanted to see. I did get to see a bunch. I was also staying with Casey Malone, friend of the site. So that was fun. We were quarantined for a few days together and we got along fine. Thank goodness.
Hi, Casey.
I also got Pinkeye my first day there. So
did you bring Pinkeye with you, or you think you got it from like the plane or something?
I didn't have any symptoms at home, and then I got on the plane and slept on the plane, and then my eyes got all goopy on the plane.
Oh.
And then I landed and I was like, I should go to a doctor, and I went to a doctor. I was a mess the first few days. I don't know how I got pink eye. Tater Tot, my cat, did sneeze in my face at one point.
Beautiful.
Like the day before the trip. I don't think that's what it was. I lived with him all the time, but granted, maybe he's the cause.
Huh.
Anyway, it was a weird start to the trip. That was already a weird trip. I did have a good time. Oh, also another thing, part of why I was like, oh, I want to go to LA, and it'll be like, I was like partially like, I want to see, I have a bunch of friends in LA, so I'll go to LA and visit LA, have a nice vacation. And also it'll be like the end of winter, so I'll probably be like excited for the sunshine, right? And it rained the entire time. Apparently the weather was like beautiful in New York while I was gone, and it was just like rainy and cold the entire week I was in LA.
Huh.
So you
No, you go. What do you
Okay, I was gonna say you were gone during everybody kind of the miscommunication and I'll just say communication breakdown that was happening here of all of us just being like, are we going in? Or the early days of, is this office open? Is it closed? I heard they closed this office. They just evacuated an office. Should we go home? Are we here? And then like, where's Abby? Is Abby okay? I don't know if you were just watching in the Slack once in a while, peeking in, being like, it sounds like it's on fire.
The thing about the Slack is usually when we're all in the office, few messages a day, here and there in specific channels, few messages. It was like a constant flow of messages while I was gone, which is how I knew things were like a little bit on fire. So I'd pop in here and there, but I wasn't totally following what was happening. Also, this is really the first time I'm like talking to you guys face to face.
Yeah.
So it is like kind of like, I feel like I'm finally like, okay, I know what's happening. But it is a thing, like I've had to sort of update myself on what's going on, like all via Slack.
It's wild that the change from last Monday to like Wednesday in our office was just night and day. That's the thing about this, like the the speed at which things have been changing is just so neck breaking. It's insane.
It was
Abby,
also wild. Oh, you
I was
yes.
saying, I truly wish you had been there on that Wednesday when we were doing the Def Jam stream, and at the very end, Vinny's like, we're talking like, all right, well, maybe we'll do this stream next week, and then Vinny comes in, and he's just like, maybe not. We'll let you know. Things are fluid. Things are changing. And then as soon as we go off the air, he's like, all right, so we're leaving. We are probably not coming back this week. We will figure out what we're doing after that on account of the CBS employees who apparently tested positive.
Yeah, that's when I got the notification that they had evacuated the broadcast center. And as we're like wrapping up, the other great thing too, and I mean, listen, CBS is a big company. I feel like our office, the one, the interactive office in New York, is never ever mentioned anywhere. There's there's the broadcast center, and there's the best office in San Francisco, and they're all like, they're always listed as like, take these precautions, do this, and it never even has our address or like what we should do, which is
got the coronavirus and come in, and then we would have made the news finally.
So anyway, welcome back, Abby.
Thank you. It was also wild being in California and hearing all these updates and people freaking out, being like, there's no toilet paper in stores. Stores are like not stocked, because you know how when you like go on vacation, you're like, I'm going to make sure I have no food in the house so it doesn't rot while I'm away. So it was also a thing where it was like, well, I have no idea what I'm coming home to. And thankfully I was able to get groceries, plenty of toilet paper, thank goodness. So I am stuck indoors with plenty of food, which is good. I did eat all my pizza Lunchables, but c'est la vie.
Those are always the first ones to go.
Yeah. What I will say is, Nick Conti, friend of the site, he works for The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yes.
He reached out to me. Do you guys know what the Magic Castle is?
I do know what the Magic Castle is.
I did not. So he reached out to me on Twitter being like, I could get you guys into the Magic Castle. And I was like with a friend, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And he was like, it's a club, an exclusive club for magicians. And I would have to it's like, you have to wear formal wear. I'd have to like buy a dress. So I was kind of like hemming and hawing of like, I don't think so, but thank you. Maybe next time I'll come prepared for this. And then I went home to Casey, and then I told him about it, and he was like lying on the couch lounging. And then I mentioned the Magic Castle, we might get to go. And he like shot up like a rocket. It was like, we have to go. So I messaged Nick back, and then we went to the Magic Castle, and it was an amazing time. Thank you so much to Nick. Truly, what a glorious time. The food is incredibly overpriced, but I did have a good time. Also, if I do get the coronavirus, it's because of the Magic Castle. It was like a weird thing where it was like a ton of magicians being like, touch this, is it real? And like people like licking envelopes and like passing them to the front.
Oh boy.
For my last trick. My last trick,
what?
I'm gonna make the economy disappear. That sounds fun.
It was an amazing time. I had a lot of fun. Good. Yeah. If you can go to the Magic Castle, recommend it, but bring like a lot of money for the overpriced steak.
Yeah. When you go in 2022, that'll be awesome.
Abby, the other thing that I was thinking about when you got home back to New York was like, oh, are you gonna get screened at an airport? But it sounds like you did not, right?
No. So my airport experience was like totally fine. I will say LAX undercrowded, but granted, my flight was at like 5:30 in the morning. But my cab driver was like, this is unusual. There's usually much more traffic. That was the thing, the general consensus in LA every time we would drive, which was only a few times. It was like, wow, there's no traffic here. How unusual. I don't know. I don't live in LA, so news to me. But the only difference in my flying experience, like even leaving JFK was fine for the most part. It was less crowded. Very easy for me to get a cab out of JFK. But my flight was like half full. Like I had a whole row to myself. Pretty much the last 10 rows all had like a row to themselves.
Nice.
Which was unusual. Like you never see, a plane not fully packed. Also, everyone was wiping down everything. So it did feel like incredibly clean. A lot of people were in like masks and gloves, which I didn't do. I'm not buying masks. I don't think people should buy masks unless they're like doctors or something. But, I wiped down my seat. I was fine. I slept most of the time. I didn't have pink eye on the way back, thank goodness.
I didn't. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't buy masks, but Sam's family in China straight up sent us a package showed up today of like 100 masks that they had sitting around because they're out of quarantine. Like where they are in Shanghai was never like a heavily hit area, but like. They were under lockdown as well. And now that they're done, they're just like, okay, we're going to send you these masks because we don't trust your government. And honestly, like, fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't know. I from what I hear, I don't think the masks do anything unless you are already sick.
Yeah, at this point I'm treating it as precautionary, not like I think this is going to actually stop this from happening, but like, just for my own personal sanity and peace of mind, it's not a bad thing to have on when you're walking around outside if you have to.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing is like make sure healthcare workers and people who need them get them, and
exactly.
don't just go buying up masks. The thing I realized home now, and Backlar, I don't know if you're experiencing this now as well, is when
you hate your children.
No, I love my children. Though my son did put up my son. I always take a picture of this and put it up. Put up a "Do Not Enter" sign on his door. Like we're like in
it says I'm in quarantine.
No, it just says like week 1. He's like already like started his own tribe over there, like his own faction of like "Do Not Enter," cool people only. Like he's just you're in each other's face. No, it's the
They've
mess.
discovered fire. And,
No, I think it says like
sectarian violence broke out among the Caravellas this week.
I think it said because we're around and he's sometimes he's pouty. It says like "Do not enter unless you're not mad at me or it's a big emergency." So like it like parentheses at the bottom.
I'm imagining you going up being really mad and then seeing the sign and being like, "Well, not this time."
Right, or his sister being like,
"Can't break the truce."
So the other thing that is amazing to me that I guess I should have realized. I mean, we've had vacations before, but boy, the house gets messy.
It's never been cleaner.
Never been cleaner.
Well,
like I'm home all day. I've like cleaned off my desk, and it was a thing I've been putting off forever. It took me 10 minutes. I'm like, why did I do this sooner?
Well, yeah,
so,
I mean,
so imagine going to the bathroom and then the 3 of us coming in and throwing everything on the floor, and then like throwing food on the floor and then running away every time you turn your back. That's what it feels like having the kids just kind of like, awesome, we have great. Like I wake up in the morning, we do all our schoolwork, we do our exercise, we do whatever we do. And then I wind up cleaning the house for like a half hour. I come down here to do work. And by the end of the day, it is like, which it should be because the kids can't go outside for that long. It's puzzle pieces and ice cream and everything all thrown all over the place. The dog is covered in like crayons and paint. It's just like it's like a what's the Family Circle cartoon. It is nobody has pants on. It's wild.
I've noticed that like there's certain spots in the house now that we're sort of just designating as like, yeah, we'll figure that out. Like just like places where things are congregating, not like trash, not like active garbage, but just like, well, we played with that and we didn't want to play with it anymore. And I don't want to put it away because nothing matters anymore. So maybe that like, what's the synthetic sand? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's like a whole play area that's been like that for 8 days, and we're just not really worried about it.
That stuff's
seems
cool.
like a problem that will take care of itself one day.
Has everyone got a good clothes chair going? I feel like every good house in a situation like this needs to have an ever mounting clothes chair.
I used to be the clothes chair guy, not so much anymore.
I don't have a clothes chair. I just have the floor in front of my hamper.
Okay.
I just wear it.
In my bathroom, we have a corner where the hamper goes, and the hamper's not there anymore. So now it's just a pile of clothes in the corner where the hamper used to be, and we can't find the hamper. It got out. We don't know where it is.
Are you all enjoying your time alone with your pets? I think my cat's thrilled I'm home all the time. It's weird. Relationship.
My cats seem happy that we're here, but it is also completely throwing off their schedule. Like there is a kind of regimented schedule of when they expect certain treats and certain wet foods and whatnot. So now that we're here all the time, they're like, oh, well, that means today is the wet food day, right? Today is the milk treat day, right? Like that's what we're getting. That's what we're doing. We're doing this every single day now, right? And no, they don't understand when I tell them no.
That's interesting.
Alex.
What's that?
You got to show them a calendar.
They're not really good with numbers, so I could try, but at this point, I think even if I did actually have the ability to educate them, I think they would still try and pull this shit anyway.
I've found my dog, I'd say the last 2 nights, usually he sleeps with us all night, and I remember getting up the last 2 nights, and he's like somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like... I don't have any time to myself. This is the only time I can get away from you guys now. So he's off exploring in like the wee hours of the morning, I think, which is
Honestly,
really
fair.
weird. Which is weird.
Yeah.
Abby, what have you been playing?
Yeah. What have I been playing? I have been getting back into Splatoon 2.
Hell yeah.
Good quarantine game. When I was at old Casey Malone's house, I had my Switch, and that was an easy thing for me to just like pop up and play a little bit. And it got me fully hooked. I played it on stream yesterday. You should be able to check out the archive. I think that went up. Boy, is that game fun. I'm a big fan of Splatoon 2. I think it's a great time, and I'm really getting way back into it.
Does the community still seem vibrant for that game? Still easy to find a match? Still people around?
Yes, absolutely. I'd say I played the salmon run, I played the ranked matches, and I played the normal modes, and they all were quick load times. A lot of people, so you know how you can make the little art? So everyone's art is about either the Animal Crossing release that's coming or about washing your hands. That's what every post is about that. Which is a fun time. It's an interesting experience. Also they do have like face masks in the game, and a lot of the characters are now wearing those, which is
That's
kind
weird.
of
But I'm sorry, that's just strange.
No, you know what? No, that's great though. Like it's again, like the Splatoon community has always been a very like conscious and welcoming one, and it's cool that they are just like doing stuff that like is hey, these are the right things to do. Come on, guys, let's do it.
Yes. I'm a big fan of Splatoon. It's been really nice getting back into it. It's a good like kind of, I don't know, it like really hooks me in a way that's very nice for how much time at home I have.
Yeah.
So it's been good. I'm really just sort of counting down the days until Animal Crossing, which I think will be out by the time this podcast is up. It's also, I think, so I pre-downloaded it. I'm ready to go on it. But I think that it unlocks at midnight, which is like very weird for Animal Crossing, because I'm going to come into my town in the middle of the night. Nothing will be open. And this will be my introduction to the town. Like, here's a weird mayor coming in the dead of night to infiltrate this town full of animals.
But that's the thing, though, right, with this one, is that because it's on the island, initially you'll be coming into a place that's largely deserted anyway, right?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, we'll have to find out. I don't know if
I think so.
feel like there have to be animals already there, though, you know? But perhaps not. It seems weird to have you on like a truly bare island. It's also like Nook will have to be there because he has to have his tent to be like, I don't know, literally every game before this started with like, hey, run a bunch of errands for Nook. So I'm very curious what those errands will be, if it will be a similar like deliver this package to this animal, or like this one to this one, or if it's going to be like, hey, dig a hole and like make a waterfall, considering you can now do the terraforming. Like, I'm curious what the tutorial stuff will be for the new Animal Crossing.
Your first task will be build society.
Precisely. So yes, I've been playing a lot of Splatoon. Very exciting. Also, while I was in LA, quarantined with Casey Malone, he did play a lot of Fortnite, and it got me to want to play Fortnite. So I've been playing that a little bit more. I'm into Fortnite now. I would love it so much more if it didn't have building. I think that could get rid of the building entirely. The building sucks ass. But I spent real money and purchased the Hot Dog Man costume, which has really upped my enjoyment of the game by quite a bit. But what I really like about Fortnite versus other battle royales, as we all know, they're not my favorite genre. I do like the way the shooting feels in it. I think that just is more in tune with like how I like to play shooters. But also it has a lot of really nice things to do in the map world that's not just looting and killing people. Like, they have AI there, and they have like bosses that you can fight and like unlock stuff for XP and like, you know, cosmetic items and whatnot, and just sort of like different tasks and goals you can do within the map, that I think is a really nice way to play the game, and really fixes a lot of the problems I have with battle royales, which is where it's like, well, and like this, you know, Fortnite definitely still has some of this, but I feel like my biggest problem with battle royales is I go in and I'm like, cool, I've just looted for a half hour, and then I immediately get shot, and I didn't feel like I learned anything from it, or I'm getting better, and it just takes so long, and it's just not worth it. Whereas like this one, I actually feel like I'm not doing terribly in it. And also there's like stuff to do outside of just the normal loop of it, which incentivizes me at least to play a bit more of it.
Abby, have you played any of the I know you're not a huge fan of the Battle Royale, but I know you are a big fan of the Call of Duty. Have you played the Warzone?
I have not.
Okay.
No.
I'm playing a lot of Warzone.
Well, wait your turn.
Oh, right.
We'll
Sorry,
get to you.
I'm new.
We'll get to you in your Warzone.
I don't know. It seems like a good transition to me.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Abby.
Abby, you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll mute my mic.
No, Abby, it's weird. Your mic is the only one. It seems like everybody else talks over each other, but every time we talk over you, your mic dips down. It's like, I don't know if there's some kind of gate that is.
rude.
I know.
That is rude.
I know.
Normally I'm in another room and like now I'm finally on an equal playing field and even still I'm being muted. How dare my mic?
I don't
This
know.
is
How
pretty
dare
fucked up.
I don't know. It just sounds like it sounds like your mic is the most conscientious mic. It is. It is very nice.
Yeah, I will say my apartment is right above the communal washing machine. So I think I did adjust the gate a little bit to try and fix the washing machine, but I think I turned it back. It should be fine.
Okay.
Perhaps once we're done with this, yeah, everything's back to normal. I'll reset my voice meter banana and see if that fixes things.
Give us
Okay.
that washing machine. We want it.
I know it stopped. They finished their their spin cycle.
Nice. These are not euphemisms. This is all an actual washing
Yeah.
machine. All right, Jeff Bakalar, what's up with your Call of Duty?
It's really, I mean, I really like Warzone. I thought I was gonna hate it, and I really like it. And now my crew and I, we play that more than regular multiplayer. It's almost like multiplayer is boring and passe and out of out of vogue, if you will. And it's like I didn't play last night, but I know they got first place in a match last night. The best I've done is third place.
Well, I guess we see what the weak link in this one was.
Wow.
Are you inferring that it was? Are you saying it was me?
I'm saying.
I believe he is.
I'm saying science. I got science on my side.
Yeah, it's probably right. So yeah, I mean, it's super fun. I really am starting to just love how many second and third and even fourth chances you can get in this thing. That whole the gulag, buying people back loop is really smart. And I thought it was going to become like old hat kind of quick. And I don't know, I've probably done like 20-25 war zones, and it's fun, man. I'm super into it. I think they really also nailed like the shield layer stuff and how you have to deal with like reinserting shields into your armor while you play. And the only thing I think, and I think Gersman talked about this last time, the only thing I think is a little sort of unnecessary, but maybe just a little tired, is the looting for weapons. I just don't find that. I know it's a necessary evil, and obviously you couldn't have everyone just like drop in with their loadouts, but almost immediately now my team strategy is to just get enough cash for that custom loadout drop. And as soon as you do that, you're down, someone get a heartbeat sensor and you're like, it feels like you have a pretty solid advantage over wherever you're going. And we kind of have like 3 roles while we play. And I don't know, it's fun. It is, I'll say this too, and this is probably leads to a more, philosophical kind of conversation about what life has been like the last week. But there is something super, comforting about having this kind of reliable social thing to do with people during what we're going through. And it's just, I don't know, it's I think like there's certain generations that were kind of built for this in a way that we're starting to realize. And like, yeah, it's definitely providing some therapeutic, calmness for sure, even though we're actively hunting people and killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say that not to say that it hasn't impacted my life at all, because it's definitely weird to feel like I shouldn't go outside as opposed to just not wanting to as I normally do. But it has been a little bit eye-opening to say how comparable my day-to-day life is to what we are currently experiencing. Because I do spend a lot of time at home. I do spend a lot of time just sitting around playing video games at home and not going out and not socializing. And then suddenly realizing that like all these people who are used to going out and having a social life, this is like a huge change for them, where I'm just kind of like, well, I'm wearing sweatpants more often, but I'm just kind of living the life I would normally be living here, just more of it.
I miss you guys. Like I miss seeing people.
Yeah,
I miss you too.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying I don't miss you.
I miss riding on the goddamn train.
I also think
know
there's like,
I'm serious. Like I miss just being around people.
I miss the
there's like a
guys
mental
who do the
component.
subway shows.
Yeah, I think there's also just like a big mental component to knowing like you can't if you wanted to.
Yeah.
That I
Right.
think is harder than just like being home alone. You know what I mean?
I watched. I know the planet is in the same situation, which definitely makes this easier, right? But I think like I don't know, like I can't watch movies and see people doing stuff. I can, but I'm just like, oh shit, remember that? Remember, like I
Yeah.
don't know, it's just
also
weird. And this
it's
is a
weird.
week with like just
Yeah.
wait till
It's a
another
week.
2 months go by.
I
Like
know.
Yeah, it's weird having no real end in sight. Like your kids are out of school until like the 20th, right? April 20th, isn't that what it is?
Minimum.
oh, I
Which
don't expect my son to be back in school.
no.
He's supposed to start kindergarten in September, and I'll
Oh
be
my God.
surprised if he starts kindergarten in September.
Oh my God. Oh, don't say that. September's so long from
Yeah, I
now.
know it's fucking crazy. Everything's
Mm.
fucking crazy.
Like that is the thing. I think I talked about this on my stream yesterday where like for the most part I'm like cool, I'm like cleaning my apartment, I'm like playing games. It's not so bad. I've got groceries, I'm like staying fit. But then I got an email from like some corporation being like, so as you know, AMC theaters are going to be closed for the next 6 to 12 weeks. And like that really did put it in perspective of like, oh God, 6 to 12 more weeks of this is like wild to think about.
I don't want you to like you got to set the bar low. Like I hate this. I don't want to be the I'm not trying to be pessimist. I'm trying to be realistic. I just don't see life returning to normal for a very long time.
Like you think like a year?
I mean, if you want to get into like how we think as a nation we're going to get through this, I think it's going to take at least a year.
I
If
think-
you just want to
Well,
like
I also think there's a
vaccinate
difference
everybody,
between like I think there's also a difference between like, things are going to be different for a while, but we're not necessarily going to be on lockdown for that long.
No,
You know
I
what
don't think
mean?
we're
Like
gonna
I
be on
think things
lockdown
will
that whole
take
time.
like a couple of years to
Sure.
like equalize again, but I don't necessarily think like I think a month and a half.
that's
month and a
optimistic,
half.
I think
I think you should visualize that as much as you can.
yeah, just you know what? Just like don't wind your
Oh,
watch. I
God.
don't know what to tell you.
Oh
Like,
God, I'm gonna come out of this both being incredibly pale, but also I'm like I'm also doing Ring Fit a bunch. That's like I'm back
that's
into Ring
smart,
Fit.
yeah.
I was like feeling a little sick and then I went on vacation, so I kind of stopped for a while, but I'm back into it. So I'm gonna be one very pale and then also ripped as hell. You
Shredded.
guys won't even recognize me on the way out.
Abby,
As
A
someone
year
who
from
is
now.
as very pale, we are always very pale. It doesn't
I know.
matter
Nothing
what
will
happens.
change.
I've been stress drumming a lot, and I've lost
Mm.
about 5 pounds in the last
Wow.
week and change.
I've
Wow.
gotten
I think
Ring Fit as part of my morning routine.
that's smart. I should maybe
Are you
buy
sore,
that.
Vinny?
No, but I sweat, so I did. It's part of my it's sweat. I mean, I only do two, not worlds, the two levels. So I do about like 10 or 15 minutes of it. Work up a good lather, and then go take a shower. The other thing is, right before this all happened, I had gone to the doctor for a checkup, and
Oh, that's good.
and he was like, "Yeah, it was good timing," and he was like,
Yeah.
"Everything,
I know.
everything okay, except for maybe." Like some high cholesterol, but whatever. That's aside from this. But he was like, "Oh, your vitamin D, it's low." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't see the sun. I, get off the bus and go whatever." And he had given me supplements, so now I have luckily I have a probably about a 2 to 3 months worth supply of vitamin D supplements that I'm now, like condemned style, just breaking up and giving
You
out.
can
to
buy
everybody.
vitamin D supplements.
Can you
That's
buy
not-
anything? Can you
Wait,
buy
wait,
Vinny
anything?
raised a
wait,
good
wait.
question.
There's the difference between can you buy vitamin D supplements and can you buy anything?
Can you buy? It's weird. There's some stuff that. So I think as we've been working from home, there was a period, Abby, you missed this window where we were like, okay, everybody check your setup. What do you need? Order stuff you need. And it was like, okay, great. It's coming tomorrow. Amazon was doing the Amazon stuff, or Best Buy was doing Best Buy stuff. And it was just like, yeah, it's coming in 2 days. I got it. And then I think appropriately, some of that stuff has now gone out to like a week, right? Or if they're in stock at all, where it's like, oh, no, I need this cable. I can't leave the house, but the shipping is a week, or they're prioritizing stuff, which is they should.
Yeah,
do.
it might take of course it might take a week or something, but I just bought like $400 worth of like production equipment for CNET, and it should. I mean, they said the longest it'll take is like 5 to 6 days. Which, like you said, prioritizing the important stuff is what matters.
Also, let's not forget, for a long time, those were normal shipping numbers. Those it's only been a fairly recent thing in society where we expect everything to show up on our doorstep like in a day or two.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I don't mind it. The compounding problem is like you just can't run to a store and get it. So it's like, oh my gosh, I need this like DisplayPort cable, right? Like, hey, heads up, we're trying to get Mass Alex up and running, and we're like, I'll cable away from doing that, but it'll
be here on Sunday.
Right, you can't just run out and go grab this DisplayPort cable. We kind of have to rely on that stuff.
I will say the Best Buy down the street is still open, so I could feasibly walk down there and potentially buy something if I need to. I'm just trying to avoid doing that if I don't have to.
Send a little RC car or something with like a little basket on it. That's like, just please put it in here.
Just have your cat run over there.
Let's all get way into drone. Let's all get way into drone piloting.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I've flown my drone a little bit since all this. Yeah.
You did?
Yep.
You went outside, just peek around.
I give my kid an Xbox controller. And he thinks he's flying it around. It's
I love duping children like that. That's so funny.
I will say this: I've been doing this shit for like a year now, and he's starting to pick up on it a little bit.
He's gonna feel so betrayed. You've done this to him for a year?
Well, not like every day. I haven't been like training him. I'm just, every time we go outside or if he wants to fly, which maybe we do it like once a month or something. And, he'll be like, Dad, I'm pushing up and it's sort of just not. I'm like, oh, you gotta hit it. You gotta double tap it.
When he's bringing this up in therapy in 20 years, remember this moment. Remember this moment, okay?
The fake drone piloting is what's going to put him in therapy.
Well, no, he's just going to be like
pandemic.
He's just going to be like, I have trust issues. I just don't trust people. There was this period of time where I feel like I would do something and it would just be meaningless. The things I did were just meaningless. I just have issues. Jeff, you play anything else?
Yes, I've been playing. Well, I told you we did. You know what I've been playing? Which
I don't
know.
No.
Well, that's just how I'm leading into this conversation. I've been playing Sonic Forces.
Cool.
Do you know what that game is?
Yes.
No.
So that game feels like a Dreamcast game. If does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's not good. It's not great, but it is a competent Sonic game in a way that I guess I wasn't expecting. I'm playing it because my kid loves Sonic, and poor guy, he's supposed to have a Sonic birthday party in a couple weeks. He don't know it, but that shit ain't happening.
No.
Right? So I don't want that to ever. If you touch a fucking soundboard one more time while I'm speaking,
sad story about his kid's canceled birthday. Nothing. I like that Jeff put his arm back in frame just in his chair.
Well, because it's still rotating.
Yeah, because it's got to rotate.
Oh, God, I needed that.
That was shitty, Vinny, even for you.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, the joke.
I'm glad you all could laugh.
My kid also has a birthday in his birthday's next week, and we had to
hold on. Let me play the nobody gives a shit sound. You got a sad trombone I can play for that shit.
And that's
what's up, Dad?
That's gonna be canceled. All that stuff
we're
is
gonna
canceled.
get sued.
Yeah. So
what do like Skype?
Vinny,
birthday?
you're canceled.
Yeah.
Well, my birthday's before his. Nobody's giving a shit about that.
Happy
My birthday's on
birthday!
Tuesday. It's on Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeff, can I come to your birthday party? I'll go to Jersey.
Actually, we're gonna need you to keep like a so yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, Sonic Forces, was it? Yeah, Sonic Forces.
Sonic Forces.
It's fun, I'm currently downloading the Resident Evil 3 demo. I'm gonna check that out.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna play everything. Obviously there's, I am pretty busy with work there. I kind of got my home studio set up a little quicker than some of the other people on my team. So I've already done a few videos about some of the news that we'll talk about during that section. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and play Doom. I want to play, what's it called?
Animal Crossing.
The Final Fantasy. No, see, I don't think I'm going to play that.
I want to see your town.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that. It's not for me. I've played Animal Crossing games before. It's not for me.
That's fair.
Yeah. And what else am I gonna play? I think that's about it for like stuff I have in the queue. I know that Control DLC comes out soon, so I'm
It
gonna
does.
Ooh,
get
when?
on that. I think the 25th.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I got code for that, but I just haven't got around to it. And yeah, that's about it in terms of like actual games. The last couple days I've been deep down in like all the next gen console spec stuff that has been announced, but we'll get to that.
It's funny. I don't. I feel like I'm playing. I'll probably want to play a lot of Doom, and I think I'm gonna get Animal Crossing for my son for his birthday, which hopefully is like, hey, cool, you got this video game. I'm so sorry. Now go on this deserted island all alone. But I feel like after the day is done, I don't want to look at a screen anymore. Like I've been staring at screens for so long, I just wind up being like, I'm just gonna go read a real book. Like anything that's on
I have
paper.
been reading real books. Like I've been doing that.
Like I'm just gonna flip this takeout menu over and over and just read this. I just don't want to look at a screen. But for Doom, clearly I'm probably gonna wind up sitting and playing a bunch of hours of that. It's just I want to get up away from this desk. I want to get away from my keyboard, and just kind of stare out the window with my dog. Bacalar, anything else before we move on?
No, I think that is it. I've got news stuff, so we'll get there when we get there.
All right, Alex, anything that we haven't talked about yet?
Primarily, I've been playing Doom since I got it yesterday. Before I will say the other thing I grabbed last night and started playing a little bit of this morning was Exit the Gungeon.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Where are you playing it?
I'm playing it on Steam, but it is also out on Switch.
Yeah.
This was out on Apple Arcade, I think, late last year. And this is a newer version. They're calling it like a 2.0 version of it. So this is a spin-off from Enter the Gungeon, a game I liked a whole lot. It was a roguelike where you ran through a dungeon that was all the enemies were made of bullets or guns, or there's a lot of gun-themed everything. This is a level-based system where you are going on these elevators and then you were kind of like getting spit out into these little like vertical levels where you are just fighting all those enemies. It is not a place where you're going through the gungeon. You are trying to get out of the gungeon. So it is a series of discrete encounters against different enemies from those games. And they keep randomly cycling new guns for you every handful of seconds. So you are constantly changing up weapons while facing off against these enemies. And it is fun. It feels much more like a diversion than like a full-fledged sequel or game. But it is fun for what it is. Like I liked the gameplay in Enter the Gungeon a lot, and this is kind of more of that. Only now you can kind of jump more, and like they literally treat jumping as like a vertical dodge roll. Okay. And when you do the tutorial, the guy's like, "Wait, you can go in the air now? What the fuck? What? No one's ever done that before. Shit. Okay." So they're having some fun with a little bit of the slightly different design of it, but. It's if you liked Enter the Gungeon, I would say totally check this out. Like keep your expectations managed at a certain level because I don't think there is a ton of game there, but what is there is enjoyable.
And is it close enough to the original where like they don't change that much about it?
Yeah, like the shooting still feels very much like the shooting in that game. And the regular dodge roll still has the same feel to it. It's just that like the progression and level design of it is different.
Okay. Anybody else got anything? We can go jump into the news. We'll take a little break before we do that though. How y'all feeling?
I can't tell if the thing I have is a news story or just like a fun little like anecdotal thing.
Well, did anyone report on it?
Okay, interesting.
I don't think so.
Here, would it make sense if I went breaking news? Jeff Bacalar, hot news hit. Jeff, take it away.
Well, we're unsure if this is actually news or not, but what's cool is
what's cool?
A couple of the professional NHL hockey teams are obviously with all the professional sports being canceled, a couple of the teams have decided to stream a live simulation of the scheduled game for that night in NHL 20.
Oh, wow.
And then starting to like post highlights and like reporting on it like it's a real game. So it just seems like everyone's gotten a little crazy.
I know. I like that. That's cute. I like that a lot.
I dig it.
I don't know who started doing it. It might have been the Montreal Canadiens, but I know the Devils are doing it tonight with their game against the Flames. And yeah, they're just sort of, even like the beat reporters are like, yeah, they're like talking about players who are like changing positions for tonight and who's in, who's out, and
I like that.
I don't know. It's kind of fun. My kid was like, "Hey, where's hockey? Where's that been? Like, I haven't seen a game in like 3. What's going on?"
Dad, make
So
hockey
we've been
come
watching
back.
a lot of highlights, but yeah, no, I thought it was an interesting little tidbit of what's going on in that world, which I thought was pretty cool.
I would say the NBA should try that, but they may have fixed this by now. But they're like right after the season got canceled, apparently NBA 2K20 was crashing like crazy because there's that whole live season thing going on in the background of that game. And so when the game did not have any games to simulate in the background, it didn't know what to do, which is
fascinating.
Not hilarious exactly, but definitely bizarre.
Definitely one of the funniest system meltdowns from all this, or like hopefully not that consequential. Maybe for them it is. I don't know, but so much of everything grinding to a halt in the most terrifying ways. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that one's a little more frivolous.
I could deal with that one.
Yeah.
Shall we take a break? What do you think?
I think we should.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna see. Here we go for the break. I'm gonna play a little of this break music, and then I'm gonna mute us all, and we're gonna take a break because we're gonna try and do all of this live. Here we go. I'm gonna mute us. Everybody, stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Keep waving. Everybody just keep waving.
I'm continuing to wave.
Just keep waving, but don't talk. Ready? And we'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. We're back, and it's time for news.
Thank you so much, Vinny.
Thanks,
I can't wait to hear the news. Vinny, you're looking amazing and young.
Wow, Vinny, your hair, it's there.
It's luxurious.
I've never seen it so full. Vinny, I'm glad to see you're keeping healthy.
Vinny, your skin, it looks so healthy.
Radiant.
Should we get in on the news?
This is like,
I guess we can.
This is like something out of Big or something.
All right.
Vinny, what's your favorite thing about school?
All right, get out of here. You doing all right?
Bye, Vinny.
What a goof.
Hi.
Bye, Vinny. Who's this monster?
Roxy, come here. Hey, my daughter wants to say hi.
Okay.
Come here, Roxy.
Okay.
Hi, Roxy.
Say hi, we're back, and it's time for news. What you been playing, kiddo? You want to say hi? You want to go back upstairs?
Roxy.
Hi, Roxy.
You can't hear us, but
I know.
Roxy, I'm a big
anyway.
fan.
Here, you want to hear yourself?
Roxy, hello.
Hi, Roxy.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good
Cool. What have you been playing?
stuff.
Nice.
Cool. I like stuff
Roxy,
too.
What's your favorite thing about Kirby?
He always likes to lick people.
Very cool. Very cool. My cat's the same.
It's a bad time
You
for
good?
that.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Vinny, what's your
Yes.
favorite thing about school?
Licking people. I like to lick
I
people.
missed that. I missed that.
Thank you. They're being very good upstairs, not jumping around too much, which is they're good kids. All right, should we get into the news?
Hell yeah.
I did not look at any news. Alex, what is the news?
All right. Well, I'll explain the news that I know how to explain, and then the news I don't know how to explain, we may rely on Jeff Bakalar for here. But we'll start with some console specs, which have come out and are out there, and things are happening with the consoles. For instance, yesterday, the PlayStation people got out there and they gave what I guess would have been their GDC presentation.
Yes.
For the PlayStation 5, and Mark Cerny gave his vaguely Adult Swim looking presentation in front of 4 heads, where he
That was so weird.
showed a lot of charts.
And what'd you think, Alex?
I think the charts looked very nice.
Abby,
So
you should scrub through some of this, not
Yeah.
necessarily for the technical specs, but for the otherworldly nature of the whole thing.
I popped into the chat. It was weird seeing like Dana Carvey in front of like a Mystery Science Theater audience.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
you get it.
Talk like really technical shit.
So here's what we were able to sort of glean from this, or at least what I was able to glean from this, being a moron. So the SSD is a big thing. They're very into this SSD hard drive that they're putting into the system, and the ways in which that will make loading games and patching games much faster. It is going to be an 850 gigabyte.
I think
SSD.
25.
825. Okay. Which is a little bit lower than I think the 1 terabyte the Xbox Sex will have. And I think they said it was something like 10.3 teraflops as opposed to the 12 for the Series X.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I can't stand here and pretend that I really understood a great deal of what was happening beyond them saying that 3D audio is a thing they're really into right now. And so they put Sid Schumann in a room and he has to sit there and listen to sounds now so that the PlayStation 5 will have 3D audio.
And take pictures of his ears.
Yes.
Until we're comparing kind of multi-platform games side by side, it's a guessing game. But I will say this, and I think a lot of focus should be on the fact of like the tangible results. I do think, and again, this is just speculation, but if we're just going on the numbers in front of us, the most tangible sort of things that I think most people will benefit from are things like the loading times and the booting up of stuff. And I do think, when you look at just how much this console is able to stream out of that hard drive, is like 5.5 gigs a second. That's unbelievable.
It's significant.
But it's at a cost.
It's at a cost, but I do think you'll see notice the loading elevators of the world kind of maybe disappearing a little bit. It's the end of pro tips in loading menus, I'll tell you that.
They'll put them somewhere else. They'll put them during your 40-minute download. So the 40 if you're lucky. The interesting thing was they're doing custom SSD stuff to get those loading times down. They're also, for external storage, doing a similar thing that I did not see the Xbox Series X stat stuff, but it sounds like they're doing similar stuff, which is NVMe drive through PCIe 4, which means sound like Sony said they're gonna go through a bunch of third-party stuff and whitelist the ones that they find compatible as time goes on with their system. And from what I could get out of the Xbox stuff, and take this with a grain of salt, I might be wrong from what I'm getting out of it. It sounds like maybe they're going for a proprietary solution, or at least buy the Microsoft one so it works.
And it's worth noting, on paper, their like raw throughput is a little less than half of what PS5 is said to be. So PS5 is 5.5 gigs a second, and the raw throughput, I think it's a little higher if it's compressed, but the raw throughput for Xbox SSD seems to be 2.4 gigabytes.
Interesting.
I'm really gonna need you to stop saying raw throughput. That shit is really fucking me up. I can't hear that anymore.
You're not comfortable with the vernacular.
What is the opposite of cellar door? That.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, for whatever that's worth, I don't know if that's gonna make a huge difference when it comes down to it. But if you're just looking at the numbers, that's what they say.
That thick throughput. Get that thick throughput.
Stop.
Stop.
So the stuff that is also interesting, like Alex mentioned, the audio. Boy, they spent a lot of time talking about how they're developing a 3D audio model, and they don't want to just use one off the shelf, and they want to make sure that everybody can experience it and send pictures of your ears to Mark Cerny and heat maps and Predator Vision. There was a lot going on there.
If you thought talking about visuals was rough, imagine talking about audio fidelity.
Let me tell you what sound will be like.
He also, I thought, listen, it was a GDC talk. That was postponed to now. It is a technical talk. It was not a show the PlayStation 5. It was not a price announcement. It was not a games announcement.
We do need to speak though about how Mr. Cerny didn't even blink for 53 minutes.
No.
I mean, oh my gosh. And someone said this in the Giant Bomb live stream yesterday. Like, he didn't even hiccup. He didn't even say
No.
a word twice.
Well, he
Oh,
also
the
like-
Cerny bot is powerful. You can't shut that thing down once it gets going.
he's like, he's like right on top of this thing, and I'm going to talk about how 3D positional audio is going to be fantastic in the future. So we wanted to develop a model for our
Talk
audio.
about the raw thrust through or whatever it's called.
The raw throughput. The raw.
This is hitting my ASMR in a way that I'm not comfortable with. Just don't put your fingernails on the microphone, please. That's all I ask.
Did he eat a banana?
Or some potato
Eat
chips.
like a mango.
Wait, what do you want me to do?
Jeff, do
No.
it.
So-
Jeff, now's your time. Viral fame.
Oh, this is gonna suck for our misophonia listeners.
Yeah, this is good.
Just
So,
a heads up for those who are watching.
just
Jeff's got a banana.
stop.
All
All right, that's enough.
I'm very unhappy.
Banana stream, banana pod.
Take that, Griffin McElroy. This is how you eat a banana. This is how you eat a banana.
No
apparently.
crunch
How
here.
much can you do in one bite, Jeff?
What's that?
How much can you fit in one bite?
Oh,
no,
please.
that's a trap. That's a trap. Don't do
What do
that.
you mean? What could possibly
No, how many
happen if we
bananas
did
can you fit in one bite? That's a bigger question. More
Well, it
bananas.
depends what kind of bananas I'm hanging out with.
PS5 again. No price drop. No games. No consumer oriented talk here. This is mostly for developers. A little bit of cooling, a little bit about a Kraken, some really good slides that went up. There was Tempest 3D, which is in the audio. A Kraken went up. The banana is I feel like I'm getting less banana than I was getting before.
No, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'm not trying to give you banana.
Good. Don't give me banana. And I don't know. Mark seems excited about it, and the three
does he?
people in the audience that may or may not have been on a video loop seemed excited as well. I mean, these are amazing times.
The people who were watching that stream maybe were not as excited about it.
That wasn't real.
The
What?
people in the audience.
I don't think those people were real.
No, I'm talking about
They were
the
scratching their
chat
heads.
audience. I'm talking about the
okay.
online audience.
Gotcha.
There was a lot of people who seemed very unhappy about the direction this thing took. Now, I went into this knowing it was going to be a GDC-like presentation. I don't remember how I knew that, but I don't know if they specifically messaged that at some point, if I just heard it through the grapevine or what. But I went in with the expectation that this was going to be very dry and tech-heavy. I feel like maybe they did not do a good enough job getting that out in front of like the larger audience, because a lot of people went into this being like, oh man, finally the reveal.
To be fair, they did tweet yesterday. They said a lot of keywords that would, I mean, hindsight's 2020, but they said Mark Cerny would be doing a deep dive on the PS5 architecture. So like, hey, what did we expect?
That's what I got.
Yeah.
I think the thing they could have done. It's everything is so wild right now. It's hard to plan any of this out. But in a world where they had a hot minute to think about public perception or the acceptance of this, is you also have some counter programming with some razzle dazzle, right? Like maybe a little bit of like, hey, here's a tech demo, here's something we're working on that goes up 2 days before, or some other like really fun news. But it's a little early for that, honestly. And I think the GDC,
But
if this had happened at GDC, nobody would have blinked.
But you know what? For them, we're actually late. Like,
think?
we're actually getting further into this cycle than they have traditionally, I feel like, gone, at least as far as like getting out the very early basic details in like a visible conference-like setting.
You think for the razzle dazzle?
I think for at least a little bit of the razzle dazzle, if not like, the full on here's your price point box stuff, because that's always the stuff they say for E3 or whatever their equivalent will be at this point.
Yeah.
But I feel like by now, people were at least a little more in the know about like some of the basics, and we
know
did
a
get
lot.
some of that.
Yeah, we know about backwards compatibility. We know about
Do we? Because actually, I feel like
Yeah.
there was some very confusing messaging around that. Like
Yes.
some people thought that what he said was the top 100 games on PS4. Most of them, almost all of them, will be available at launch.
That is what he said.
So that is what he said. But then I saw some people trying to walk that back and being like, No, it has to do with like the boost tech that they are going to be giving those games on the PS5. Only those the thing is, I
Oh.
can't tell. I'm pretty sure what he said was that they will be playable, not that they will just have that boost functionality.
Oh, maybe I
This always
misunderstood then.
happens. This always happens. No one can ever just. I feel like if there's anyone who could just be as clear as possible, it could be Mark Cerny and just be
Right.
like universal compatibility, right?
Yeah.
And then a certain amount of games will have boost mode enabled or whatever it is. But I don't know.
This wasn't. Yeah.
But they didn't mention beyond PS4 legacy, right? Didn't they not go?
Not at this stage, no.
No. Well,
They
we'll see.
they also mentioned, which I got lost in the weeds with, honestly, the how they're gonna cool the system and how to make it. They had a graph that showed axe is very hot, and then crossbow is 75% there. Cars are not, and then they're not just gonna go off of what they anticipate the best,
Well,
the most dramatic games.
Wasn't that a story a couple weeks ago about how they were like having trouble
keeping the heat?
Maybe.
Yes, that was. I remember that. Basically, that they were having trouble getting the cost of the system down because the cooling system that they were employing was very specifically designed to not have the giant fan problem that the PS4 has, and they aren't necessarily willing to cut costs on that because they think that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's talked specifically like, hey, God of War, the axe obviously makes my PS4 sound like an airplane, and then what is that?
Fucking Kratos, man.
Horizon Zero Dawn is doing some other magic that makes it better. So I don't know. I think we'll get there. For me, it was everybody's sitting at home starved for something to talk about and do, and then it was this very technical Star Trek-esque talk of how the engines run, and everybody was kind of like, okay, that's okay, it's okay. I think coming away from all this stuff with the Microsoft and Sony stuff, it sounds like I'm going to be spending a lot of money on peripherals so far.
Yeah.
It's going to be an expensive system with expensive hard drives to add on, which, knowing where I'm at with the PS4 already and how big the downloads are, and only expecting those to get bigger, I feel like if you don't buy a 1 terabyte supplemental drive, you're making a mistake out of the gate with your system.
Oh yeah,
right.
It seems
Does
like
everybody
it,
agree
yeah.
with that. Like, does everybody use a second drive now, or everybody at least change out their drive?
I did not. I
So-
probably should, but I didn't.
So you have the
I changed
stock
out
one?
my drive.
I have all the stock stuff. I have to granted, I buy most of my games physically, so there's still
But
a
they
lot
still
of space
install
management I have to
and
do.
yeah.
But I just I delete games when I'm done playing them.
You do.
Something
You're
like-
pretty good about just managing what's on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like every time now it's like after a certain point it did sort of plateau and reach a thing where it's like every time I get a new game, gotta wipe a few other ones, but it's not that hard to manage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm still. I was to say I put in I think it was a 2 terabyte drive into that PS4 at some point. But I have never used external storage for any of those systems. At this point, I've created the hard survival rule of like, hey, if I have not played you in X number of months, you are getting the fuck off this hard drive.
and there was certainly did talk some about like, hey, due to the kind of nonlinear nature, I think it was because of this of hard drives and SSDs. Assets shouldn't have to be repeated, and maybe file size will come down. At least patching stuff should be a lot easier. But
He touched on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm buying it yet. Like, I'm not sure I'm all there. I think with 4K and up assets, I think stuff is going to be big. I've never seen file size go down in the 30 years we've been watching this.
No, file sizes aren't going to go down, but the raw throughput is going up. So,
Where'd that banana go?
So think about it, 5.5 gigs a second when you have, a massive game file.
Right.
The access to all that is expedited.
So yeah, we'll see. I'm not super. I caught maybe 10% of that, and pretend to know another 10%, and then 80% was just kind of enjoying what the graphics and him saying we're going into the Matrix at least 2 times, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Does nobody in the tech industry know that going into the Matrix is supposed to be bad? That you're not supposed to want to go there? Because there's a fucking Gabe Newell comment from like yesterday where he was talking about Half-Life stuff. He was like, "Oh, we're way closer to the Matrix than anyone realized." It's like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but
we're not supposed to want to go there.
But remember, before the Matrix, and this is probably the best thing. I mean, listen, I like the Matrix, most of it, but this is probably a good thing about the Matrix. People used to say lawnmower man. Before there was the Matrix, we used to all talk about being a lawnmower man.
Matrix is better.
What is that? What are you talking about?
It's a movie.
Oh boy, you should not. Yeah, why not? Go watch. You got time? If you got time, go watch the Lawnmower Man.
You totally should watch the Lawnmower Man. As someone who's never seen it,
I'm gonna do a solo film in 40s of the Lawnmower Man.
It absolutely. I could say this without having seen the movie in decades. It absolutely does not hold up. It is severely problematic. So,
oh yeah, several different ways.
I could think off the top of the head.
How is it like the Matrix?
I can think off the top of my head how about at least 3 things you're gonna be like, oh, that's not right. In it, but it's about somebody being in a computer.
But the way that is like the Matrix, in that it is one of the early Hollywood examples of them trying to realize VR in a cinematic environment. But it is based on a Stephen King story, right?
Oh, I love Stephen King.
Well, here you go.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Do you like the problematic parts of Stephen King? Because there's a lot of that
like
in
his
there.
Twitter.
Well, yeah, not quite that, but yeah. Anyway, Lawnmower Man, Matrix.
Lawnmower Man, Matrix. So, Alex, what else is new? So, anyway, if you want more of that, I don't know, Jeff, did somebody write up on CNET the kind of breakdown, or is that you?
No, I've kind of been keeping track myself. We did write some stuff. I have a couple videos that go into depth, or not depth, but kind of like watered down the best I could, and the people I've talked to about what are the tangible takeaways that people can extract from that very dense presentation. So
that's up now.
I have that for the people. Yeah, that's up right now.
Jeff, did you take off your devil's hat and put on a different devil's hat?
Oh no, I just turned it around.
Okay, all right.
It's like
I was very confused for a second there.
Yeah, it's a big time for hats.
Also, I'm sure Brad and the people over at the Bombcast can get a little bit more into the nitty gritty on that stuff. Go check that out. Alex, what else we got?
So there was one other online presentation this week. Nintendo did an indie showcase, as they occasionally want to do. Not a lot of like huge reveals out of that, other than the fact that John Vignacchi is now one of the voices of Nintendo's indie presentations. So, shout out to Johnny V being the narrator now. Yeah.
Wow.
Finally.
Fascinating.
That's good. So
one of the narrators.
Just VO, not nothing on. He doesn't snap.
Yeah, no on camera. It seems like it was all VO.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Johnny V doing the cool voice of Nintendo indies at the moment.
Good enough for Disney, good enough for Nintendo. That's what I say.
Yeah, there were a few neat looking things in there, like this game I Am Dead looked pretty cool. The new game from Hello Games, The Last Campfire, will be coming to Switch, which it looks like kind of a 3D platformer adventure type thing. And then they announced Exit the Gungeon would be coming to Switch that day, the day of the presentation, which is out now, obviously. Also out on Steam. Like I said, not like a huge news dump, but like a lot of games that are going to be timed exclusives on the Switch for the foreseeable future as far as consoles go. So you should go watch that video if you want to see what kind of indie games are coming to the Switch.
Okay, sounds good. I do want to see what kind of indie games are coming to the Switch. We got more? You keep going.
Yes. I'm going to save the more annoying story out of all of these for last and just do a couple of quick hits here. There is a new Overwatch hero, Echo, who looks like they tried to make more of a person version of that lady robot from WALL-E.
Oh, okay. This is this is a playable character?
This will be a new playable character for Overwatch. She is called Echo because she has the personality subroutine of the scientist lady who built her, who is dead, inside of her. So that it's kind of like a new data situation where they tried to put data in the other data, but in that case it didn't work. But here I guess it did. So Echo is the scientist lady. The scientist was apparently one of the original founders of Overwatch. She's dead now, but now there's a robot that is her. So, and they have not shown any of her abilities yet, but she is coming soon.
I'm trying to watch a trailer, but you said it looks like the robot from WALL-E, the one that's.
I mean, she's got she's all white and she's got the kind of like angles. It's just they added more human parts to her.
Okay, because and
she's got the kind of glowy face thing.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say the WALL-E robot that I'm thinking of is just kind of like a teardrop. Or just like a cylinder. Okay.
They added limbs to her and all that.
Enough,
yes, I feel like that was the design inspiration for that.
Okay.
So that's coming soon.
Yes.
Also, I'm just gonna say this very briefly because I'm not even playing this game anymore. But Hearthstone is getting their first new character class in 6 years.
Huh.
It's been that long since a new class?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, but since the game launched, they have not added any new like playable character classes in that game, but they are finally adding Demon Hunter to the roster. See if you can guess, Vinny. You're maybe the only person I know of that would maybe know this. See if you can guess who the Demon Hunter is.
Okay, wow. You mean the Warcraft,
the character personality? Yes.
Okay, wow. Oh, wait, the character personality would be a paladin.
No, it's a Demon Hunter.
Okay, so it's a Demon Hunter. So when you say personality, are we talking like they're friendly?
It's a significant character that you've maybe heard the name of before several times in the Warcraft universe.
Okay, in the Warcraft universe, we have Illithar, we have
you have the right starting letter.
We have Ilacthridin, Metamucil.
It's Illidan.
Illidan
Stormbringer.
Yeah,
that's the
couldn't
one.
get there. Okay, yes,
that's the guy.
I should have gone with the Stormbringer part.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to this because, again, I've not played that game in probably a year and a half at this point, but it sounds like he will have a bunch of combo move class cards built into his attack stuff. But yeah, Hearthstone still plugging away, and they finally added a character, which I just think is kind of nuts that like 6 years later, like, all right, we're doing that now. Here you go.
Yeah. It's funny, like I haven't, like what I was saying before, there's so many things like when we're talking about them now, it's like, wow, I should have a bunch of time to play games, but I don't. Then sometimes I kind of maybe I'm thinking about, wow, like where we've been doing this a lot. There's been a lot of streaming. There's been a lot of be around, do this stuff. And so not a lot of like daytime playing of games. Do you think
Right.
people in like the sales departments or in like the purchasing departments are having like free days, or do you think they're just freaking out being like, the economy is on fire? Did somebody sell something?
I don't know, but I would have to imagine that at this point, the sales departments at companies that run games that have microtransactions are actually probably doing okay at the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah,
I did just buy a hot dog costume in Fortnite.
Yeah.
A game I barely play.
That's right. I think I just dropped a little more money into Red Dead on my own too. Even after I bought all that stuff for work, the money goes fast, man. The money, you never know. The money's gonna go fast.
Keeping the industry afloat.
Yeah. All right, Alex. What else we got? Are we up to the bad stuff?
Yeah. So speaking of keeping the industry afloat or not doing that, GameStop is handling this COVID shit terribly.
Okay. What's going on?
So there was a report that went out earlier this week where some folks that work at GameStop are kind of sounding the alarm that they were having some issues basically managing the situation that we're all going through right now. They're at retail locations. They are not necessarily handling this very well. Some of the stuff that was mentioned in the report was that kiosks that companies had paid for to be in the stores that had been moved off the floor because, people are going to be touching those things constantly. It was just easier to take them off. GameStop corporate was telling them to put them back on the damn floor, turn those machines back on.
Because they were paid for.
Because they were paid for.
Okay.
In addition to that, cleaning supplies have not been supplied to the regional stores the way they were promised. So, like, employees have had to go out and buy their own cleaning supplies to keep the store at like a decent quality.
That sounds good. Where is that? That's coming from like employees basically reporting in?
Yeah, so there was a memo that went around that was first reported on by Kotaku. I'm currently reading the Vice story here, written by Scoops himself, and the way it sounds is that they are panicking more than they already were. They're already having a hard enough time keeping these stores open and keeping things going. And then the thing we have seen from this, like right out of the gate, is that the companies that were in the worst shape to weather any kind of disaster are weathering this disaster in the worst possible way.
Or not
and
weathering
GameStop, or not weathering it at all. And so GameStop, I would say, is one of those companies, at least from what we've seen so far. They did put out a statement where they are kind of trying to talk around and say like, hey, we are trying to deal with this. I have not watched this video, but I think a YouTuber snuck onto a conference call that GameStop had about this stuff, and apparently what was said was not good. I have not listened to it myself.
Was it kind of a taller person on a phone? I know it's hard to tell, but it's probably a video conference, and all they said was, "Fuck him, fuck him."
No, I don't believe the word "fuck him" was ever said.
Fuck 'em.
But I have not watched the video. I don't know.
I'm Reggie. I run this company now, and I say, "Fuck him."
That's right. Reggie is on the board now, isn't he? He's the one trying to salvage that mess. Well,
yeah, I don't
good
know
luck
if
with
we
that.
didn't cover that, did he? Old Reggie, the GameStop brought on old Reggie Fils-Aimé from Nintendo to I don't know do exactly what, but Reggie's over there. So Reggie, come on! I expect better from you. Get this ship righted. This is not how things would run at Nintendo. I assume.
I will say the most significant, I think, thing out of this story that I saw was that in that memo, they basically said that if any employees or anyone in the store becomes sick, they have to go on sick leave for, however long. I think 14 days is the current recommended amount of time. But there was no clarification on how that would impact their sick days, whether that time would be given to them beyond like whatever their allotted sick days were or not. And there is no emergency pay being offered. And also, they're not closing the stores if this happens. They are closing them temporarily, I think, to sterilize or to clean or whatever, but they are not shutting down the locations. They are not in that mode at the moment.
Even so, is that happening even in cities like San Francisco and New York that have kind of mandatory no more than this many people? New York hasn't done a mandatory closing of businesses. New York City proper,
just like restaurants, right?
So restaurants are not allowed to have people dining in the restaurant now.
Mm-hmm.
Clubs and bars are largely closed.
It's all takeout only for everything.
Yeah, like I will say anecdotally, up until the order went through on, was it Monday night, the Croatian bar and the Mexican karaoke bar across the street from my apartment were both on and popping until that order went into effect, and then they have been shuttered effectively since.
Did you hear like a record scratch, like when the news went out?
No, just a lot of vaguely European wailing. So yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Like a lot of businesses are kind of handling this, on a case by case basis. Like some are just straight up shuttering, or are just keeping locations closed or limited to the number of people that can come in. I think GameStop has made the decree that like no more than 10 people are allowed in a store at any given time, including employees, which is
not a problem.
Ha!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Ha!
I'm kidding.
You got him, Vinny.
Can I at least get the harmonica sting when you do that?
I'm kidding. That's right. Oh man, I wish I had that one up. It's too late now, right? It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late now.
No, it's not. It's never too late.
Wait, is it not too
it's
late?
always better like 30 seconds after the fact when we're talking about something else and it interrupts someone.
Like what?
Jeff, talk about your kid again.
All right.
I'm not falling into that trap.
What's up next?
Damn it.
That's all I got. I will just say this last quote on this in this Vice story. There's a flyer that went around about store personnel, and there's just the last line. I think says it all. Please come in unless otherwise directed by an associate.
To work.
That's it. That is the decree. Come into work unless someone tells you not to. Love it.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, I feel like GameStop's history now seems to be not listening to managers and staff when they're like, hey, there's an issue. So it doesn't surprise me that like the steps managers and staff are taking to like, get those demos off the floor, try to get things clean. It doesn't surprise me that GameStop corporate is like, no, business as usual.
More Funkos. More Funkos.
Give them stuff to touch.
What I've noticed, and we said this in the beginning, like I've noticed every single retailer, most of them have like implemented some sort of delivery is a tougher thing to pull off, but like
Right.
a contactless situation where like either someone can come to your car or whatever it is, and it doesn't seem like that's even on the table. I mean,
Yeah.
you would like that seems like a a more
Yes.
responsible way to approach something like
Well,
this.
and
You
again,
can order stuff online from GameStop.
That's
Totally,
what,
but
that's what I
like-
was gonna
Yeah.
say. Like they should have a thing where they do in-store pickup only, right? Where it's just like, hey, order your thing. We're gonna package it, put it in a bag with your name on it, and then we put it in next to a thing. We keep an eye on it, and you come in and you in-store pickup
Right.
only.
Like even my local liquor store, like in 24 hours, figure out a way to like do only deliveries and pickup. And I realize this is a more corporate thing, but man,
well, and again, we realize that, like, again, not everyone has the benefit of this because commercial internet is not uniform across the country. But like, I can't think of many businesses that are hemorrhaging money that are worse off to weather something like this as a physical brick and mortar location than something like GameStop, because video games have almost not, I mean, it hasn't been a complete and total sea change, but like the shift toward digital and digital access to games is so overwhelmingly where everything is going that a company that was already essentially hemorrhaging money is now basically just like running around with like, chickens with their heads cut off. Like fucking, I'm imagining it very much as just like papers flying around the office, people like throwing things, like just desks being flipped. Like it is anarchy over there. It is like the fucking Belko experiment over there in that building.
Yes, there's definitely somebody like it's dead, Jim. Basically. No,
the business is dead.
We can bring it back. We can bring Funkos. And it's like,
Get Bain Capital on the line. We're gonna save it. We're gonna save it.
Reggie. Yeah, I we've talked about this a bunch, and I just wish, Abby, you're still a physical game buyer. Or are you kind of transitioning?
I mean, I'll probably be buying digital for the next however long we're trapped here.
For the duration.
Yeah, for me, I haven't, like, for instance, for example, I haven't played Doom 1. I would love to go into a GameStop, trade in some of my old games to get the new Doom that I could potentially then sell back later, because I don't know if I'm going to like that game. Like,
Right.
Animal Crossing, not a huge deal for me to buy download. It's a game I will play every single day for like the next 5 years. So you know what I mean? It's worth that to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell it back. And it actually makes more sense as digital. But like, I prefer physical copies because it is cheaper for me in the long run.
You like the
I guess
secondary
more
market.
affordable for me.
It's the
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
I like being able to buy used
Yeah.
for a number of different reasons. I like being able to sell back stuff used. And GameStop was really the only place I could do that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll crack that nut in the next generation with the some kind of, hey, I played this thing. Is there any way for me to recoup any money on it, or can I kind of sell a license to somebody? Like, can I buy something off of you if you were just like, hey, I'll give you the license for this game. I don't want it anymore. That seems like maybe a couple of steps away, but not
a lot of profit in that for digital sellers. Just saying.
They would probably take, if you were selling me a game, if I were selling you like, Abby, I don't play Doom anymore, Doom 2016. You give me $5 and I'll take it. And they took 5% of it. I mean, there's definitely money there. But I don't know. They put stuff on sale digitally a lot. Not as much Nintendo, but Steam and even Sony do. We'll see. But I hear you. The secondary market stuff, for all the years that GameStop has been around, that has been the thing that people have told me the most, is being able to trade in games and get that you don't play and get them anymore. So I hope there is a solution for that. I don't know how GameStop necessarily has a 2020 post season, in this whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to not see a world where GameStop just dies from this.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hey, that's
I mean,
They're gonna have to better, and, like, it will be the end of GameStop.
I mean, they could always go. They could always go the Boeing route and try and get a corporate bailout, but I think they're pretty far down the list of companies
Yeah, I
that
don't
will
know
be
if they're
applying for that.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, do we have any other fun news?
That's all I've got on my list.
Anybody else have news they want to talk about before we move on? No?
I think that's it.
All right, we're going to take another quick break. I'm starting to get hungry. I should have eaten it before this. We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be back in a little bit. So everybody hang tight. Hold on. Here we go. We're going to get this going. And stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes. Here it goes. And we're back. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Here we're
How's
back.
it going?
I
Did
think
you
it's
miss me?
going. Yes, I did. I think it's going. How are you guys? You guys ready for some emails?
I think so.
Okay. Well, if you want to send in an email to this here podcast, you can send them into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Let me make sure I've got everything all sorted here and stopped so we can continue with this show. Yeah.
So before you get your emails going,
Yeah.
I'm working on. I think I'm going to start streaming.
Cool.
I think I'm going to do it.
What are you going to
And
do?
I think I'm going to do pinball.
What are you
I
going to do?
think-
And how are you going
I
to
think I'm
do?
going to do pinball. I think I have enough stuff here. I think I'm going to start streaming some pinball. And
Jeff, are you going to stream pinball?
I think I'm gonna start to stream pinball. So I guess I'll tweet out when I'm like good to go. I gotta test a lot of stuff first. It's a good amount of equipment. A lot of it I have. So I'll let everyone know when I'm ready to go. Is that
Okay.
I mean,
is that okay? Can I?
Yeah.
Is that okay if I say that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, cool.
What are you going to do?
support
What are you
me?
going to do again?
Not falling for it.
All right.
I learned. I learned. I learned.
I will
learned.
say, over the last week here, I have been learning all the ins and outs of how to become a solo streamer, and it turns out I do absolutely nothing about how to do any of that. So it's been a fun learning experience. But I think pretty soon here, I'm gonna start streaming games with the rest of the team as well.
It's awesome.
Cool.
They're
I
definitely
am now an OBS expert. I graduated. I took the online course. I got my diploma,
nice.
and I am ready to go. So thank you.
Right on.
I not all kidding aside, have watched at least two kind of like, hey, what's cool in what should I be doing in OBS videos that I don't know about? Like, I had never streamed to the Twitch channel before and did not know about all these integrated pop-up windows that you can put in the thing, which is neat. But emails. Send us buddy emails at beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell, what do we got in the email department?
Okay, Alex, do you want to read
Yes.
this first one from James, please?
Sure thing. James says, Beasters, with the news that E3 is being canceled over coronavirus concerns, which I think is the right move, I can't help but wonder if this is one of the final milestones toward the end of E3 as we know it. Presuming Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Bethesda demonstrate that they can successfully deliver their messaging direct to consumers at a cost I have to imagine is much lower than a typical E3 budget given reduced travel and catering costs, it is going to be hard for these companies to justify in-person E3 presentations. What are your thoughts? Do you think E3 can bounce back from this year off? Or do you think that the accountants at the major publishers are going to see the savings and move away from the stage shows as a result?
I think this is it.
You think
think so?
It?
Yep. I think this is it. I think the legs of E3 had been hobbled for a while, and I think this is the final blow that really just took the old, I don't know what you want to call it, the blunt object, the blunt weapon to the kneecaps of E3, and I don't think it's going to be coming back from something like this.
Interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
As they speak of blunt weapons, apparently Abby's cat is trying to kill her while you're saying this.
he took a nap earlier, and now he's feeling feisty.
He wants to play.
I think we see E3 come back. I think we see E3 come back.
You think in the same way as it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
No, because they had been trying to change it anyway. But I think the brand comes back, and I think it's a much, starting from the ground up, much more consumer oriented event.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think I've said this before somewhere else. I feel like it's going to have that like Woodstock the 90s Woodstock vibe to it.
Just like mud?
No, like where they try to bring it back and like, hey, remember E3? It's about the games and all this stuff, and it's just going to be like a bunch of on-site activations and brands there, and
it's gonna be, oh hey, remember E3? Well, check it out. Now Limp Bizkit's here,
yeah,
just like Woodstock.
Kind of, but instead of Limp Bizkit, it'll just be a bunch of I mean, we're already halfway there. A bunch of esports teams and groups and stuff that throwing out T-shirts and running tournaments, the Smite tournaments over there. So I think it comes back. I think the name still holds a lot of weight, but I think it comes back starting from the ground up in a much more consumer-oriented way. It's my
I think if it does come back, it will come back in the form, roughly the form Vinny has described. When the news broke, I remember my first thought was, not that this is in any way a benefit to anyone, because none of what is going on is a benefit to anyone right now. But if you're going to have to cancel E3, having the act of God clause to point to and be like, look, we were going to do a show. We just couldn't this year, but we're coming back, is probably the best thing you could possibly point to try and like recapture some of the energy you had when you were trying to lead up to this show. Granted, you probably don't want the exact energy they had leading up to this one, because everyone was like basically etching the tombstone for the show even before it had happened with this one. So I think they'll try. Whether they'll get there, I don't know. It's possible by the time we get to next year, the idea of even doing an E3 will just sound absurd to us.
Right.
But at the rate things are going, who fucking knows? But I feel like they will try. They will make an effort. They will try to reload. They will try to make something happen in some form. I think whatever that ends up being will either be the stripped down consumer focused thing that like Vinny was talking about, ongoing for however long they can sustain that, or it will be the last time anyone tries to do an E3.
Okay,
it's fair.
We nailed it.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
we figured it out.
Okay.
I mean, do you guys hope E3 comes back?
I mean, I haven't been in a while, or a year rather, right? 2 years.
Yeah.
So the last one I was at, I did not like it. I know no one liked it last year.
I don't want E3 to die because of extenuating circumstances. I want it to be because of their own hubris. I don't want them to. I want them to go out guns blazing. I don't want them to just peter out because a disease outbreak ultimately forced them out of position.
Okay,
I think what I want E3 to change a lot and become a more successful consumer event. I think that they would have to change a lot of stuff to do that. I think it can't be what we know of it as E3 now. And I don't think I would necessarily be interested in like going, but I think that's what I would like to see for it. Like, sure. Yeah. Like, why not have it stick around, but have it be like a totally new thing, kind of rebrand a little bit.
Yeah. I think if they can pull it off, I just don't want it to be, I don't want it to feel slimy. Like PAX does a really good consumer focused event.
Yeah.
I don't want to see, I don't want to see the big publishers muscle completely out the small guys from PAX. I mean, they still have a pretty good thing going at PAX, so I don't want that to turn into it. So if big places need a place like E3, I hope they find it. Though it does seem like publishers are just taking it into their own hands, the ones that can, the big publishers, and just going direct to consumer. So we will see. All right, Abby, what's up next?
Okay, Jeff Bacalar, will you please read this one from Wes?
I most certainly can. Hey, guys. The way you guys introduced this last week's show, Outlands Rogues, #1 podcast in the Wasteland, made me think about this question. You remember saying all that, Vinny?
I think I do.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Yeah.
I said it.
If you could have a radio show of some kind in any type of fantasy, sci-fi, video game setting, which would you choose? Would you give us the best tunes to listen to in our nuclear winter wasteland? Maybe an underground resistance radio in a cyberpunk world? Or would you guys continue to be the best podcast in the universe, literally playing from a futuristic space station on a universe-wide frequency with a rotating chair of alien pinball builders? That's me, right?
That's you.
Yeah.
I look forward to continuing to listen to you guys in this dimension and the next.
I think for me, I would want like a This American Life, but with people who are dealing with the apocalypse.
Okay. Like
I want to know. It's like this apocalyptic life. I want to know how people
Nice.
are coping in their forts and their bunkers. Talk to the drifters and the wastelanders, and have an interesting NPR-esque web show.
like this week, 3 stories. The first one. What would happen if you had to make your own bullets? That's my hourglass. That's
Really? That's really good.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Honestly, solid. A little more. You need like a little more of the gravelly, like
Little nasal.
vocal
Yeah,
fry.
he's got. I can't do that on demand.
Hi, I'm Ira Glass. This week we will be discussing
Making your own clothes. I never thought about it before. I can't.
I'm just realizing I don't listen to enough Ira Glass to do even a passable impersonation of him.
I'm Ira Glass, who's eating all their beans in their cans.
Part 1, botulism. All right, let's move.
All right, the
Mine,
NPR heads out there really love that one.
Look at that. Look out, folks. Next up, Terry Gross. Here we go. I think I would probably do I do a pretty bad podcast about just like what times, like, hey, remember the good times, folks? Remember, like a reminisce podcast. I actually would be really depressing in the apocalypse,
It would
wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay, maybe I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't get a lot of listeners.
It'd be terrible. It'd be like remember Parks.
But I feel like that's I think
the-
that's like what people want to put on the radio and like hear their old songs and like kind of like remember what the world was and like the good times. I don't know. I feel like that's what when I turn on the radio in the post apocalypse, do I want to hear just like old broadcasts before the world was destroyed?
I don't know. I do think I would want to hear, at least the sounds of the old world, the music and the things like I love the DJ trope in, like, if not necessarily apocalypse, then like certainly, in movies where like, there's like a DJ that's like talking to the protagonist, like in The Warriors or in Vanishing Point or something like that. The other thing is that I've been rewatching Parts Unknown, the Anthony Bourdain series recently, God rest his soul. And they do an episode where he goes to Antarctica, and there's a guy there on the Antarctic base at McMurdo who is the DJ basically for McMurdo. Like he has a record player, he's got a whole like record archive that he's just playing stuff. And there's a whole scene where like Bourdain is just sitting there like playing records for people at fucking McMurdo. And I like there's a certain romantic quality to that kind of like sparse population. You're kind of the source of music and kind of the sounds for these people that don't really have too much else to listen to or much else going on. So like I don't know, I think that's what I would want to be like. Whatever kind of wasteland you want to give me, nuclear, post-nuclear, environmental, whatever, I don't really care about that. But I like the idea of being the lone guy in the broadcast center, just, with my collection of records or CDs or whatever, MP3s, and just playing music for whoever's out there.
Right. You don't know if anybody's listening, but you're just basically just spitting game forever, right? Yeah, I could see that. Backler, you're just going to do remember old hockey games and kind of like, man, remember that shot? Remember that? That was a great shot. Remember Kelly Ruby?
Every 5 minutes, just yell out Lemieux, baby.
Yeah, I would just play like great hockey like broadcasts, like that kind of thing, and just soak it and be like, I want everyone to soak in the call that Doc Emmerich had in the game-winning goal of Game 7 in overtime. Just soak it in.
I bet in a post-apocalypse, you could probably just fake who you were anyway and just be like, I used to be the #1 hockey announcer. You guys probably don't know. All the hockey fans got killed in the first wave, but I was a really big deal.
Or like somehow find those people and interview them.
Sure. Bring them on. Abby, what's next?
Okay, I will read this next one from Daniel. How do you hold a controller? Index finger on the bumper, middle on the trigger, index for both, other.
Okay, so holding this up, I am pretty much an index for both. I will if I know I'm going to need to hit both the bumpers and the triggers, I will do the middle finger on the triggers. But in general, I am alternate with the index fingers.
Me too.
No,
having Tater's tail.
Well, that's a weird controller.
I am also index for both. I really despise when I have to do the two.
Yeah, I don't like it. I also think it's a strange thing because I feel like most of the time it's just just
Yeah.
the triggers. So it's
Yeah.
weird to like be like, this is my mainstay, just the middle fingers. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
There's some
that's it.
ASMR for you.
There's Jeff Backler eating a banana again. It's really weird.
There's my ASMR triggering again.
Yeah, index fingers on bumpers and triggers, and I actually actively dislike when I have to use my middle fingers for the triggers. It happens on some
Yeah.
games.
The second you get that middle finger on the trigger,
Yeah.
the entire foundational hold of the controller is compromised, and it feels almost like you're gonna just drop it.
Give me back paddles. I like the back paddles. I have them on the Steam controller. I think they're on the Elite. I don't have an Elite though, but you can have
you know what I have?
the back paddles, right?
Oh,
I
I
got
like
one-
the back paddles.
I got one of these that I've never used before.
Don't forget
the,
this is an audio podcast.
I know it's the. What was it? It's like
As
the
far
back.
as we know.
Yeah, well, come on. I was about to explain.
Just holding up another banana.
If you fucking just let me talk.
That's a hemorrhoid, Jeff. I don't.
Like
I don't know
I've never
what you're
done
doing.
this before. A hemorrhoid? You can pick up a hemorrhoid?
Listen, I
Yeah,
got
webcam technology is wild, man.
I got one of these. What do you got? What do you got? See, nobody ever gets to see the look of consternation on Jeff Backlar's face.
And then the look of joy on Olive Hours.
All right.
This is.
We love you,
know
Jeff.
what?
We love you.
Oh, enjoy it while you can suck it in. 'cause
All
this is
right,
my
all
life.
right, all right. What do you got? It's the PlayStation. It's the PlayStation button thing, right? The back thing.
It's the back button thing. Have you ever used it? It seems
No.
really wild. I
Where'd you
haven't
get
even ever tried. They sent it to me a while ago. I just never used it, but it feels kind of strange. I don't even understand like why I would need to do something like this, but in these times maybe I'll here's how it works. So your middle fingers actually become the paddle, the back paddle
Yeah.
fingers.
And it's programmable.
this
Yeah,
is
when I used
interesting.
my like Xbox Pro
See that?
controller, I use the middle fingers on the back. I usually only do like one of them, just like my right middle, but it's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So you do.
Yeah, I actually do it instead of the bumper, so I don't have to like fuck with the bumper. Like if I have to hit a bumper a lot in a game, I'll put it on the back paddle.
I'm gonna try this out in Warzone. See if it improves my Warzone.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably will.
your KD.
Yeah.
And good for, a step in the right direction for PlayStation on the official accessibility front. Not quite there with the Xbox controller, but what is? Abby, what's next?
Indeed.
Okay, Vinny, this
Yes.
one is for you. We read this one from Anthony, please.
Sure, it's going to take me a second to find it, but I think here we go. Vinny, are your bug out bags still packed and ready to go? I feel like a fool for never putting some together, and as soon as we're on the other side of this pandemic, I plan to do so. Do you have any tips? Oh boy. Suddenly
I was actually going to ask you about this too. So
Suddenly
this
this
is good.
feels
This
like
is good
less
timing.
goofy. So when I moved into
Okay, wait.
yes.
I asked Casey and he told me what was in yours. Could I guess?
Sure. He told me what was in mine. Told you what was in mine.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I've
Okay.
had people, let me just say this. I've had a lot of friends reach out to me recently, not just because of this, after the fires and stuff, be like, so any tips? All right. Yes. Anyway.
Okay. $5,000 in cash.
Cannot comment.
Okay, bottled water that you have to cycle out.
Uh-huh.
I kind of forget. I mostly just focus on the cash part because I was like,
Yeah.
whoa!
I definitely do not have
We gotta go to
$5,000.
Vinny's house.
I definitely do
Okay.
not have $5,000 in cash.
Canned
Do you have
non-perishables.
I have MREs, but they're not in a
I
bug
love
out bag.
MREs. Oh, interesting.
I actually have to cycle
like
those out
a
soon.
good blanket,
Good blanket, yeah.
flashlight,
Flashlight for sure.
gun.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping to use my $5,000 of cash and stick that in the bag. If anybody has a firearm, please lock it up. Don't keep it in a backpack.
No. Okay,
don't-
that was it.
No 20-sided die in your bag.
No, though.
Oh yeah, like a deck of cards. You gotta.
Deck of cards. So
You can do close up magic.
I switched out of so I kind of after I got out of living in an apartment for basically all my adult life into a house, I kind of switched over from the kind of bag 48-hour bag to kind of a more of a shelter in place kind of thing, and then the bag is for if we really got to get out of here kind of thing. So
Right.
you can only fit so much in a bag. So what I having just kind of thought about this for a long time, it's definitely cash. I don't have $5,000 in cash, but it's definitely want some cash in there.
It's a nice thought.
Yeah, it's a nice thought. Boy, yeah. You see these things behind me? I don't have $5,000 in cash in my backpack.
Throw a bunch of Gundams in there.
Yeah. It's definitely some cash on hand. And it's really have phone numbers for things that you might need to
Oh,
call.
interesting.
Because if your phone goes down and you need to ask somebody to borrow, you need to borrow somebody's phone or something. If your phone runs out of batteries and you don't know the numbers, you'll want to have that. I would say some kind of phone charger or a charged battery pack. If you can find one of those solar chargers, that the ones that the panels that unfold, if you can put those in there. And it's not that I don't go overboard. Like I think some kind of cutting tool or a Leatherman is good to have. It's got a screwdriver or something. But if you're grabbing something to get out of your apartment, it's hard to carry water. Water is super duper heavy. If you're looking to be in your apartment, that's different than like a bugging out bag or a bag. You should probably have some water and some canned foods in your, or foods that stay in your apartment. A whistle is what I tell people to, or I recommend to people. Because if you're getting out of your apartment and suddenly something happens, especially if you're in an earthquake zone, you want a way to get people's attention. But when if cell phones go out and cell service doesn't work, then you want that information. Information is the biggest thing. Being able to contact somebody or to know where to go. Like the plan is more important than the what's in the bag is really my 2 cents.
Do you have one for your car? We were talking to Drew and he was like putting together like a car kit.
Yeah, I do have stuff in my car, but it's mostly flashlight, blanket. I don't have
10,000 in cash.
15,000 in cash in case I have to buy a new
shotgun.
car. In case I have to buy a car.
Need more Gundams.
Yes, and that's where the heavy machine gun lives, so I can mount it on top of the car. No, it's a set of tools. It's definitely have those. These things are awesome. If you don't have one and you have a car, you should just get one. Those battery jumpers, the charged battery things that can jump your car, and a set of jumper cables if you need. But those battery things that can jump your car are amazing. And that's kind of it. And then in my house, the house is another story. That's where I have like 55-gallon drum of water.
Really?
The food and stuff. I've got a basement. I could put it in there. And yeah.
Or you keep going. I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, so the thing that I would say is pretty that I've come to is, and we'll see how this whole thing goes. And this is going to get dark, and sorry if this gets too dark for right now, but like I don't want to wait online in something and deal with shortages. If and not because I'm selfish, it's because I think in a panic situation, I don't want to be there when stuff runs out, waiting online, depending on that stuff for my family, or sending my wife out to go do it and be like, hey, get on the line, and then when they run out of handing out the water and it's the last one, what's that situation look like? Scares me, and that's what I really try to avoid. But if you're gonna do that stuff for home, again, this is just my 2 cents. Get stuff you think you're gonna eat. Don't just get like Calorie Mates and don't get like the survival in the woods food. In my head, my thing was always 48 hours. If you have to go out somewhere, take a bag and go somewhere. So get stuff for 48 hours. If you're going to shelter in place, my thing is always like around a week or two. But if this is I've read some stuff on it, but don't take this all with a grain of salt. If the government hasn't come for some kind of relief in 72 hours, shit has probably gone really bad, right? Like, like if there's not some kind of response, and I don't know how you prepare that much after that. Like, and then 2 weeks, if you haven't had any kind of assistance, then at that point you are trying to figure out how to renew your resources, right? Like I'm not here stocking up for 6 months. So again, that's all with a grain of salt. That's just my personal stuff. I don't know if that helps.
That is very fascinating as someone who is completely unprepared for literally anything. My question though is like, how strict are you about like touching that stuff? Like if there's like, oh, we have like a snow day for 3 days, we don't necessarily want to run to the store. Let's grab some food downstairs. Like how strict are you about it? I
wish I were better about touching that stuff because then I would cycle it more. The problem is everything expires. So food expires, water has a shelf date on it. So I wish I were better actually about that stuff, but I'm not great. Like I need to throw out some stuff that's old because it's probably not, it might be okay, but definitely past its shelf date. The other thing too is like if you put a battery thing in your backpack to go, you have to make sure that's topped off and charged. Like some batteries hold charges better than other, but if you have a battery pack in there for your cell phone, you need to like once in a while check in on it. And so that's why I think the plan is always even more important. And communication is probably the number one thing. And if you can have somebody else that in an emergency will try and check in on you. That's also, I think, very important. If you live by yourself or you don't have roommates, just somebody who knows how to get in touch with you, somebody maybe who's local who can come check in on you and be like, hey, are you okay? Because that can be scary as well. That's very dark. I mean, I don't want to get so super dark, but here we are.
No, I mean, that's interesting though. You know,
We live here now, man.
Yeah. It's also just interesting for me as like someone who lives in an apartment where like I have so much access to so many people all the time in good and bad ways, but I don't know. I just can't imagine one, I can't imagine dedicating that much space to that, but also very interesting.
It's interesting that there are lines in front of the grocery stores. We had to do a grocery run not that long ago, and we went in the evening and it was basically cleared out, but my wife talked to the people that are there and it's like, no, we're restocking. It's just gone by the end of the day. It's just everything is off the shelves. So I guess that makes me know why there are lines in the morning. But if there are lines now when it feels like the supply chains are generally pretty good, it frightens me a little bit to think what would happen with just a hint of panic if those chains weren't there. And that's why I just do not want to be caught in that situation. The thing, honestly, I think I've said this before. The thing that flipped my brain over at some point was like, I never want to leave the house in an emergency ever. Is the videos that used to go up of Black Friday of people trampling each other for TVs and toasters and stuff. And I was like, man, if that's what's going to happen over a consumer item, imagine. And again, this is so dark, but imagine what somebody's going to do when it's like, if I don't get this thing, my family might be in trouble, right? And like that's what made me be like, wow, no, I don't want to be around that at all. Like, that sounds bad. All right, let's go to another email. This is it's starting to bum me out.
Thanks for making us all feel better, Vinny.
Yeah,
great,
it's
Alex.
really comforting.
Why don't you read this one about phobias from
Sure.
Noah?
Noah says, hello, Beasters. I was going through Mass Alex, and in Season 2, Episode 10, Vinny and Alex both have an in-depth conversation about phobias, specifically about their phobia of heights. I was wondering, does anyone else on the pod have something else they would consider a phobia? I have a lot of anxiety with roller coasters, primarily due to the lack of control. This extends to cars as well, so I'm typically the one driving. This isn't a fear or of weird or aggressive movements, though. I am a private pilot, and I enjoy the stall recovery exercises and maneuvers, but cannot stomach roller coasters at all for some reason. Thanks for all you do.
Okay, on to a cheery email.
Yeah.
I'm scared of knives.
Oh, really?
Knives?
I love knives. I have so many knives in my home.
Okay, keep talking about it.
It's in my bag.
Yeah, when I was real young, I think I've told this story. When I was real young, I cut myself by accident with a Swiss Army knife. I took it and tried to close it the wrong way.
No, you don't have to get into the details. It was unpleasant. We get it.
It was real bad, and I don't know. There's something about the notion of being cut with a blade.
This is a dark episode.
What about being stabbed? Is that fine? Is it just the cutting?
I mean, it's bad too. You know,
I don't want to be stabbed. I know that.
Stabs up there. Yeah, I am just even in normal cooking, I am useless. I will make obviously I can use a knife, to cut like a cantaloupe or something, but I'm always very awkward and I don't feel confident about the whole situation. And I'm definitely doing it wrong, but in a way that I can guarantee I would never have my finger in the way of the blade, and I'm bad.
So you just watch videos all day of people with straight razors shaving, right?
Dude, so I used to go to a guy in Hoboken that would give me the straight.
Oh, could you deal with it?
I would I didn't want to.
Did you get all sweaty?
Internally I was dying. Externally I'm just trying to stay as still as possible.
I'm sure you could tell. I'm sure you were bright red and stiff necked.
No, he
was like, oh, you're so all your tendons in your neck are popping out.
You're like a statue. What a pleasure it is to shave you.
Right, you hardly move at all.
It was one of those things I would just kind of get through and live with the fact that this had to happen because it just needed to. But yeah, That's me. Knives. No thanks. That's my only real phobia.
I think I have a pretty irrational fear of heights. Like it's not rational. Maybe it is because I think that I'm just gonna do something silly or stupid to fall off the thing that's high. But I like get weak in the knees, even like when I sometimes on the edge of a subway platform. I just feel
really?
like sometimes I just feel like I'm gonna like tip into it. And like that's like 3 feet. So I think it's definitely not rational.
Are you
tingles,
do you feel okay being like picked up?
Like into the air?
I also have to realize, well, it's like a thing that like people pick me up semi-regularly, but like they don't pick other people up. So it's like a thing that I have to realize, like, oh, I'm used to this, like a cat, but like I feel like people who are taller and like can't get picked up by other taller people just are like, when they get picked up, they freak out.
I would
Abby,
love
are these strangers that are doing this, or are they your friends? Who's picking you up?
They're my friends.
Okay.
They're my friends. It's strangers on the street who are just like, get out of my way, little thing.
Who's picking you up?
Well, you also have to realize I do comedy where it's like,
Right.
somebody might be like moving and pick me up. But it's like sometimes a weird thing in comedy where like, I don't really care. But also some people do, understandably, where it's like, and I think it's pretty common for like smaller women, especially where like, oh, you'll be in a scene and someone will just like pick you up and put you on your shoulder.
Okay.
All right. I think I would.
Anyway,
at this point, I think I would be psyched if somebody picked me up. Like I'd be impressed, and I think
I'm imagining a stranger coming picking you up, and you'd be like, yeah.
Oh, I think I'd kind of like curl into a like a little ball and be like, no, this is. Like, keep doing this.
When was the last time somebody picked you up, Vinny?
Oh my gosh.
Never mind.
It's gotta be 8. I mean, listen, I'm a married man. Not a lot of pickups. You get it? Yeah. No, I don't know. It's like 11 or I don't know. Like I can't. There's no memory of somebody. I mean, I weigh a lot. And I'm 6 foot tall, so the leverage and the physics are tough on that one.
Vinny, this sounds to me like a challenge that you're putting out to the world.
No.
Can anyone out there, anyone in the Giant Bomb universe, if you can pick up Vinny Caravella, we will give you 1 free month of Giant Bomb Premium.
Just 1 month.
This is either ends in some horrible, awkward thing where somebody is like, no, I got this, and it's just like I'll just give you the month, man.
You don't got this.
I just got this, or just like
I'll give you a free month to not pick me up.
Yeah.
or somebody getting or something very awkward happening where somebody's running up to me trying to pick me up and me just running around town. So it's okay. I'll take you where I'll tell you what. If you say you could do it, I'll not going to give you a free month, but I'll say like congratulations.
Right. And if you can't pick Vinny up, you get a hernia.
That's right.
So I will echo Vinny's heights thing, but I will say that my thing is much more extreme heights. Like if I'm up in like a tall building and like there's some sort of overlook, or it feels like I am not on the firmest footing, like I could not go to the Empire State Building top and feel comfortable with that. I would be pretty freaked out about that. But like basic stuff like climbing a ladder or whatever, like I can usually handle that okay. It's just the crazier heights and anything where it feels like my footing is anything other than firm makes me very on edge. The other one I have is bugs. I can.
Oh yeah, I can't fuck with bugs.
So I can deal with like most basic bugs. Like I don't mind if a fly goes by or I see a caterpillar or something like that. Like I find them all a little bit gross, but I can kind of deal with them. It's spiders and it is bees primarily. Bees are important. I have no problem with them as like a part of our ecosystem. They should exist. I'm cool with them. But I am not deathly allergic, but allergic to them. So when I was a kid, I got stung several times and got some really incredible welts out of it. So if a bee gets too close, I have a tendency to kind of go, bleh, anytime that happens. And spiders, I just don't like them. A friend of mine many years ago got bit by Black Widow and ended up in the hospital. So it was like that kind of shit. Like I just don't play around with that.
You have phobias based in like real scary shit.
Well,
like
kind
actual...
of. I think the bug thing is actually also just rooted in this very bizarre memory I have of something I saw on TV when I was a very little kid. Don't remember what it was. Don't remember what the movie was. Don't remember what was happening. But I was definitely too young to see this. It was probably some horror movie.
My girl.
It was an image. But it's an image I have emblazoned in my brain of some guy who has been buried in the desert up to his neck,
Oh
and
my
there are
God.
bugs crawling all over his head.
I think it's Creepshow.
And that, no, that's the beach one.
Oh,
that's the
okay.
one where they drown.
Yeah.
Ted Danson drowns, and Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
I didn't see that until much later. This I cannot place what it is. Don't know what it was from. Definitely should not have seen it at age 4 or whatever I was when I saw it. But it stuck with me. And for some reason, the idea of just like bugs crawling anywhere on my body forever, it just immediately triggers that response, that memory. I just go, blah, don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a big bug fan either. It's the ones with a lot of legs. Like I don't mind bees. I don't mind the cute ones, but it's like bugs with a lot of legs, like those like weird caterpillars that are in apartments and like
Yeah.
spiders. I don't fuck with that. Anything
Millipede.
that like scurries away really quick. I'm always worried it's gonna scurry like onto my arm, and that is
And
upsetting.
eat your head in one bite.
Oh, I hate it. Also, this is like maybe not a full phobia, but I do get a little scared and jumpy around horses.
Oh.
Like I find horses like a little scary.
Huh.
They're
And I've
intense
like
animals.
ridden horses before. They are, and I think I'm just so aware that like one kick and it'll
Yeah.
kill you.
Yes, they are
Like I
powerful.
also think I may have told the story before, but like I was helping to break horses with my mom. They were like not fully grown adult. They're like fully grown, but they weren't adults. They were like the teenage equivalent of like a horse.
Mhm.
And we were like riding them bareback, and I was helping to break them and just get them used to being ridden. And it was the scariest fucking thing in the world.
Jeez.
Where I would do it and I would get on its back, but then like sometimes they would just like run out from under you. So then you'd wind up behind the horse, which is
Oh,
like the worst
man.
place to be.
Yeah.
It was so scary. I don't know. I've ridden horses a ton, but like, oh, also once I was in Prospect Park, and like, so if you ever go to Prospect Park, there's like a dog park, and then like sometimes you'll have like, there's a bunch of like youngish teen girls on horses riding around in like a horse line. But like one of these dogs saw these horses and like booked it, and it spooked all these horses. They were like throwing the girls, and then this one horse was running full speed through Prospect Park, and it was the scariest thing in the whole wide
Okay,
world.
we can't. We gotta
People
go
were,
next.
like,
We gotta
panic.
go to the next topic. This is the darkest
Yeah,
episode
we're
we've ever
starting
done.
to like lead people into fearing.
They got
These
the
are
horse,
dark
like, it was
times,
okay.
Vinny.
It did run into the roundabout, but it was okay. But
Abby,
it was
people-
so scary.
People need to know about this stuff.
Sounds to me like you have a healthy respect for horses, like a
Yeah, I guess maybe that's what it is. But like around horses, sometimes I'm like, oh god, they're huge animals. They're giant.
Yes.
Yes, they are giant, they are intense, and they are willful.
Yes.
All right. Let's go into something a little more cheery. Abby, what's next?
Okay. Jeff, will you read this one from Lance, please?
Sure can. Is it about horses killing you?
No.
No.
Okay, good.
I
Man,
don't think so.
we somehow found a way to talk about horse death. All right. Hey, folks. Hope all is well in your world as you are transitioning into a work from home environment. I myself am now starting to also transition to that. My question is, how is everyone coping with it? Do you have any strategies for separating work from personal and dealing with the new environment? It's a fair, very relevant question from Lance.
Yeah.
I think well, I've read a lot that people are like, change your clothes every day, which I've been trying to do, where it's like, even if I'm going from like bed pajamas to like around the house comfortable clothes. And it also helps that like I'm on camera, so it's more incentive to like actually get dressed. And I think also for me, a big thing is like exercising, like whether
Yes.
I'm doing yoga or I'm doing ring fit, or like the occasional times I go out to do a jog or go for a walk. Like I think moving around and exercising is like so important for my mental health when I'm cooped up, way more so than when I'm going out and doing shit. Like I find that even for like the weekend when I'm like, oh my God, I've been cooped up for like 3 days, like doing like a half hour of yoga, I immediately feel better.
Yeah. That's going to be the biggest thing during all this is I think it's just being sedentary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's not good. I've been trying to, I mean, you know, the usually the morning walk with Marty, we've turned it into like a mile. You know, we're just trying to stay active. I'm playing a lot of hockey outside with the little guy. I think I'm going to like start rollerblading all over the place.
There you go.
I think I'm just gonna dig them up in the basement and just maybe get some like harder wheels and just start going on the street skating all over the place. But yeah, I think for me the kind of like the cloud over, you know, for me, my head is like this. I really do think this is going to be very long, and just kind of like looking down that tunnel and not even being able to see the light at the end of it is this very like daunting thing. And you know, I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but it helps. But what helps me is like talking about it. Like for me, the most the most therapeutic and kind of the thing that's been helping me face what's to come is being as social as I can be, and it's making me realize like just how much I need human interaction. So it's I think those things are what I'm focusing on.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead, Vinny.
No, please.
I was to say, so I have a little experience with this because there were a few years when I was out here before you got out here, Vinny, that I was pretty much working from home full time. And I have some lessons I have learned from that, some of which have been echoed here already, which is one, stay physical, two, stay social as much as you can, like stay in contact with people. Don't just, sit there in your dank room and, stew in your own juices for as long as humanly possible, because that's not a good way to live. I will say that in addition to drumming, which is pretty good cardio for my purposes, I have found that jumping jacks are both a good way to get your heart rate up and also annoy the person in your apartment with you. So if you're looking for that, that's not a bad one. I've also I have found that changing clothes is important, but maybe not the most important thing. I also really have just tried to keep rooms discreet. Like I come in here to do my work stuff, to log in for streams and whatnot. Keep the living room as a space where I go when I'm done with work, so that I have somewhere that I can be in a different environment at least, or at least feels like a different environment, so that I'm not just sitting in the same space for like 12 hours straight and then just being like, where the fuck did the day go? That's not a good way. That's not a good way to live.
I only have like 2 rooms in my house.
Yeah, that's
okay. Well then,
yeah, that's hard.
You pick the one room for this, and then the other room for everything else.
But I do echo that sentiment of trying to partition when you're at work and when you're not at work, so everything doesn't bleed together. For me, in the way my mind works, I need to set and communicate schedules and expectations. So when do I need to be available for work? When and what are the expectations for that? When am I not? When am I doing something else, like being with the kids, and I'm not available for work, so that I'm not constantly running to check Slack or kind of put out fires and that stuff. So clear communication and clear expectations for what is expected of me, so everybody else knows from a team on up and on down. Hey, no, I communicated this. This is what I promised I'd get to you, and this is what I can do. And my family's been great about giving me the time to say, hey, these are the hours I'm going to be here doing this. And, worked it out with my wife to be like, I will be available in the mornings from 7. We're still waking up at 7:30, doing our whole routine. Everybody brushes, everybody does the stuff, gets dressed. So from 7:30 until about 12, she's working and I'm taking care of the kids. And then we switch gears with an expectation that some of that has to be flexible, but boundaries. I think boundaries is really what I'm saying, is setting boundaries that you can stick by, that are communicated well, so that other people understand that as well. Otherwise, I cannot deal with, I just, maybe this is one of my phobias as well, like trying to figure it out moment by moment. Like I cannot do that. It stresses me out too much. If I don't have a clear idea of what the day is going to be, I'm kind of a mess, like I said, the kids have been great. They've been great because we have opened up screen time, and they are just they're just like, do what you gotta do. You're working, that's great. Yeah, no, that's fine. Go do what you gotta do. I'm gonna go play some PS4.
As a quick addendum, Jeff, I will say to your rollerblading comment, right before things went into more significant lockdown, I got out of my skateboard for the first time in forever to run some errands. And that was a beautiful and freeing thing, especially after I ate shit literally within 5 seconds of getting on the board. And then I was just like, all right, I did it. I'm free now. I don't have to be afraid. I could just do it. And you know what? I was totally fine after that. It was great.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I want to do those things, and that sounds like a lot of fun. And then in the back of my head, I'm just like, but don't get hurt enough where you'd have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
exactly.
Don't do
that. Yeah.
All right. Is that going to do it for the emails?
I think so.
It really does help me talk with people. I hope that gets through, and I hope I don't come off as selfish as trying to get as much of it out of this podcast as I can.
No, I think we're all very, very lucky also that I realize this, that we we're not forced to, but through work we are communicating with other people constantly. right? Like we are,
Yeah.
whether we're talking about on quick looks or live streams or whatever, we have a support group that we're like, hey, we're doing this. People are wondering where we are. They're hearing our voice. I get to hear other people.
And honestly, even live streaming feels social, even though it is like yesterday I live streamed Splatoon. I was like, well, I'm literally sitting alone in my room yelling into a void to no one, but like I was still talking to chat and it felt social more so than, other things.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Jeff, I think it was probably like 12 hours since we couldn't work at home. There's just a message from you being like, hey buddy. You're like, hey, what's up? Yeah, just need to talk to someone.
How you holding up?
I've been doing that to a lot of people.
I appreciate it. It was great.
Like we have a morning meeting with our video team, and after we hang up, I like call Mark and I call Nick, and I'm like, hey, what's going on?
Just want to talk.
You.
Just you twirling a phone cord around your pinky. Kind of just, what are you up to?
Like, I don't know. I know I keep going back to like just how long this is going to be, but I don't think that has really settled into with a lot of people. And
like me.
Yeah, like you. Like I don't, and I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to be pessimistic about it, but it's like the fact that like I don't know when I'm gonna see you guys in the flesh the next time is like kind of it's upsetting. Like it could be
so weird.
It could be next year. Like
Oh my God! Don't say that.
You'll
Jesus
hardly
Christ,
recognize me. Underneath this hat, I'm growing a luscious head of hair. I'm just trying to surprise you guys.
I would love to see that. That'd be great.
It's my quarantine hair.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So, as someone who has seen LA on lockdown and New York on lockdown, or at least pseudo lockdown, what does the rest of the country look like? Do we know?
Well,
I haven't really been keeping up, but like, are they also like, hey, you should stay indoors, or like, what's the deal with most less populated places?
Like the nationwide advice is to really aggressively avoid social interaction. From what I can gather, I've talked to people who are currently in Florida, and there's like a lot of beach activity going on.
Yes, I have seen about that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of videos from, pretty reliable sources that show people doing the spring break thing without a care in the world. Sounds like if you're out of the country and you decided to go on vacation while this was going on, you might be in a really difficult situation very soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like where I am, I'm in suburbia. It is definitely noticeably quiet at night. New Jersey has put in like Vinny? It's like a soft 8 p.m. curfew.
My town in particular has 8 p.m. curfew, but it's not like they're patrolling the streets.
Right. It's not like an enforced thing. Yeah. It's sort of like a soft one. I think we'll get to it. I really do. Like I maybe this is for another podcast, but what my friends and I, especially while we're playing Warzone, talk out every night is like, what are the ways that this sort of just ends? And
yeah. Well, people in chat seem to be saying seems like it's a nationwide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sensation.
So.
Yeah.
I'll add to that. My little brother and his wife were moving out of the country supposedly in April, and she's a national of another country, and basically she got the call that's like, hey, if you want to live, any national that's out of country, come here because they might close the border soon, and like their whole plans are just upside down.
Wow.
So
God, I can only imagine.
So must be if I know, that's my brother and his wife, but like there must be just millions and millions of cases of lives upside down. All right, should we move on with this really upbeat?
Yeah.
I mean, look, it had to get there at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just pushing off the inevitable.
Should I try this? Should I try this live? If there are no more email questions, that means it must be time. Oh boy, I hope this works. It must be time for corrections. If you've got a correction, send them into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell, do we have any corrections?
I was hoping we get the yeehaw, to be honest.
Oh,
I've never been happier to hear that music.
We have a couple of corrections. I was not here, so some of these are news to me, but we got them multiple times. So, Alex, will you read this one from Philip, please?
Well, I ducked out of the show last week long before they
Okay,
probably
well,
got to
you're
any of
reading it
these, but
anyway.
I'm going to read it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to judge you from a distance. Here we go. This one's from Philip. Hey, Beastcast. In the last podcast, you were all talking about what the nod in the Brotherhood of Nod is meant to be. It's actually a connection with the biblical Cain, who killed Abel, committing the first murder. After he murdered Abel, Cain went to live in the land of Nod, which was noted to be east of Eden. So the same verse inspired both the bad guys in Command and Conquer as well as John Steinbeck.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we were talking about Command and Conquer, and I think Brad asked, "What is it an acronym? What does NOD stand for?" So there we go. Abby, do we have another one?
Yes, we do. Jeff, please read this one from Ben. We got a few about this.
Great. This is fascinating. Hey, Beasties, last week talking about reading, Jeff mentioned while reading that everybody has their own, quote, internal voice. That reminds me of psychology research I was reading last year about that exact thing. It turns out that not everybody actually has what you think, has what you would think of as an internal voice or dialogue. There are some small percentage of people who do not think in words, but in abstract emotions, ideas, or concepts. They then have to formalize their words when they speak. It is only even recently that research into this started. That's super fascinating.
Yeah.
How do they even do that?
I read.
I think they had an article about it recently.
Yeah, I know this has come
my
up
friend
recently.
group.
Yeah.
I'm in a few text threads with groups, and one of the people in my friend group does not have the internal dialogue. So she was like, "Oh my god, you guys hear sentences in your head all the time," which is very funny. But apparently, she talks out loud all the time. I don't know. She's
Yeah.
That
great.
is so wild. To
Yeah, I can't. It's I cannot fathom it. Is more the
Right.
thing.
Well,
It's
so
more
here-
like the
My brain
seeing
will never
sound,
shut up.
hearing colors kind of thing, right?
Here's the one I would
Yeah.
also present is that so I have the very intense running monologue in my head, which is sometimes a problem. But the thing I don't do very well is visualize images in my brain. Like I
Oh,
don't.
really?
It's actually very difficult for me to formulate like a detailed image of something in my head. It's why I'm not going to say this is the only reason, but it is one of the reasons why I'm a terrible artist. I cannot fucking draw. I can't do anything from
Interesting.
memory. So, but I, there's a percentage of people who are like me who sometimes can't conjure any kind of visible image in their brain, and do everything totally based around not doing that. Whereas lots of people are able to conjure very detailed images in their brain. So there's lots of different ways that consciousness and brains and minds work that we absolutely do not understand whatsoever.
I definitely have an overactive imagination, but it unfortunately kind of manifests in a worse. We can't do this dark thing again. What's okay? Let me ask you. I was gonna
pull out, baby.
I was gonna say it kind of manifests in like a Final Destination way of like everything I look
God.
at. It's like this. But do you? Let me ask you
It's
this.
also a thing. I think having kids, right?
Well, it's kind of always been like that. Of like, wow,
Okay.
what if that thing fell? But the you think you'd recognize your internal voice monologue if you heard it? Like
that's an
I was
interesting
thinking about
thing.
this because I was talking about this recently. Like Abby said, I think this has kind of been in the kind of public mind. Something must have come out. But I was thinking like, well, you know what? I'd have no idea what mine sounds like, or if somebody played it out of a tape, because it's not like a voice. It's just like a thought
Oh, mine's
train.
a voice. Mine's like my voice.
Yeah,
Really?
that's
Well,
what I
it's
was
like
gonna say.
But I feel like it's probably my voice. I don't know if I really think about it, but I think mostly I'm just thinking words.
You think?
There's
Okay.
a voice, but I picture the voice in my head. I mean, it probably would sound like mine, but my mind comes across as a very indistinct voice. Like it's hard to actually nail down any details of it. It just sort of is. Oh well, I hear the words, but I could not actually describe what the words sound like to anyone.
Huh. Well, oddly enough, mine's just Ron Howard.
Yeah, mine's Gilbert Gottfried. It's really bad.
Mine's in French. I can't understand it.
I really want to speak to someone who is incapable of like having that internal voice, because obviously anyone can like hear a voice, right? Like or think of a voice in their head, but this is more about the way you internalize like things, right? Like
I also think a lot of people don't necessarily hear a voice or think of a voice. Like, because I was talking to my friend a lot about it, because we were like, well, what about like when you read something? Like, what do you hear? You know?
And it's just like,
well, you have that. Yeah. What is that? Explain that to me.
I don't remember what you said, but
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily just like, oh, it's a voice talking. I think it was just like, oh, I think about like what the book says, you know?
Now I can't even remember what the hell we were talking about last week where we got into that.
French toast. It's probably
Huh.
yeah. It was something super happy.
You're talking about reading, and I remember there was a question on here
yeah.
about
Audible
reading
versus
listening to books.
Yes, right.
Which I don't know what y'all came to the idea of, but you know what? They're both reading. Calm down.
I think that's what we got. Yes, it was a
Yeah,
calm
that's what we
down. It's
got.
it's both reading. I think that's gonna do it. I think we're gonna clear the way here for some more stuff. I haven't actually checked to see if anybody's been messaging us from work, but I know there are other people.
Oh, Brad's been waiting.
Okay, okay.
Oh.
Let's clear the path here and allow people to continue on. Thank you so much. Oh wait, hold on a second. This is gonna be the tough one. Okay.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
boy.
this is the tough one because the volume at the end gets high. So here we go.
Okay.
Let's give this a shot.
Oh yeah, we just have to keep talking
That's
over
right.
it.
Let me make sure.
It's also real smooth because I feel like every time I edit it, I'm like, wow, it's coming in so smooth. It makes everything we're saying sound like more weighty. But now we just have a big long pause before it comes in, which I think is the real way to do it.
Yes. So we're gonna wrap this up in just a second. As soon as I can get out of here, stop all this, do this. Hold on a second. While I get this going, Alex, why don't you talk about what we're doing for Mass Alex?
So Vinny and I have been working on a solution for recording Mass Alex from here, where Vinny will be able to see my gameplay. We have the work PC that has the Mass Alex saves and all the textures and all that fun shit installed. So theoretically, we should be able to do this. It will probably not start up until next week at the earliest. Stay tuned for more information on that in the near future. Also, I will be joining in the semi-regular solo streams here soon enough. I have just about got everything set up on my end to do that. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, Abby, you have started the streaming business. I believe Ben is going to be joining in here shortly as well.
We haven't talked about this, but maybe Clue Crew, me and Alex. That'd be easy and fun.
I would be down.
Clue Crew.
Oh, that's fun.
Let's
Also,
think about
I got
it.
my sim saves. I should be able to do a 100 baby challenge again.
And
Hell yes.
Maybe at some point, if we get really deep into it, we bring back a little of that crime crew. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we start heisting again. You know, Backler, we might have an opening if you got some good chops.
We need a new wheelman.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how life just comes
full
around,
circle.
huh?
Life comes at you. Well, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Abby Russell. Thank you, Jeff Bacalar. Thank you, Alex Navarro.
Thank you, Benny.
If you're out there, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay inside if you can.
Stay inside if you can. If it's your birthday, happy birthday.
Thanks,
I'm sorry. But also, happy birthday. That's going to do it for the show. We'll be back next week.